War. Huh. What is it good for? Pumping up your poll numbers. Say it again. War. Ah! That's the song.
I feel like that could have been better.
Yeah, but I thought of it 2 seconds ago.
As a friend, I want to make sure that I'm not overhyping you.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can do better.
Yeah, I could have put effort in. I literally thought about it moments before that.
You know,
hey, everybody,
effort would have been nice.
Oh, here. Oh.
You want to try that again?
Guys, I just hit puberty. Y'all hear it? Y'all heard
everybody, it's me, Jimmy Snow.
Here's your popcorn, Mr. Simpson. Welcome, everybody, to Calling It Now, the show where you can call in and tell us, a couple of leftist atheists, douchebags, what we're wrong about. And that's what we're interested in hearing from you for. The phone number is on the screen, 336-543. I feel like the way I introduced that, it's not clear what the first 3 digits were. 336-543-2101. 336-543-2101. Call in and let us know where we are going wrong. Call in and let us know how we should change our minds to support capitalism, to support Republicans. Call in and tell us why what Donald Trump is doing in Iran is good.
No. Call and tell us why it's legal.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. Prove to me that what he's doing is legal.
Call in and tell us one MAGA value you've been able to say he's embodied his entire career from start to finish and that you've been able to support just as president. Because it seems to me that you're all a bunch of hypocrites, that you don't have any actual values. And I'd like to know what it is. What is it about the way Donald Trump is running America that you would even call making America great again? He's exploding deficits. He is going to war. He's doing more and more of Israel's work for them all the time. Like he's making Israel great. It seems like that's what he's spending his time and money doing.
I don't know about you, Jimmy, but I personally love being a shill for Israel.
Yeah, I'm liking that. That's what my taxes are. It's just like, hey, tax man, could you just go ahead and take this and do that country's biddings for us?
Send me a tax.
Because it's not like what do I want to spend that on? Healthcare? I wonder. I wish we had like a live ticker we could check where it's like, hey, here's a ticker.
My name is Jovan.
Here's here's a number of people not getting Medicare for all this year. How much all those missiles cost?
Oh, true.
The hundreds of missiles they bombarded with. And as far as I can tell, the only confirmed deaths we had is the 186-year-old man and a little girl at a school. As far as I know, those are
multiple little girls.
Yeah. All right.
Because that's who's most important to take out, in an airstrike is little kids at school. Because if you don't stop all of the little kids at school, who's going to stop all the little kids at school?
They were coming right at us.
They were coming right for us.
All right, we'll take this call. The next call that's queuing is almost certainly going to be a troll here to yell slurs, but we'll see. Like we're not on to the pattern.
That this call you're about to take has called in to troll before, right?
No, Jay hasn't. Jay calls in. The one that we're about to calls in to show.
The first time you talked to Jay, he lied to you about his age, and you got mad and hung up on him.
I don't remember all that, man. You remember calls like I don't.
At least if it's the Jay who always calls to talk about communism, anyway.
No, he usually calls to talk about socialism and wants to know what I remember of Jay is that Jay believes capitalism as it is happening now isn't any good, but he would improve capitalism by low-key doing socialism and would hold capitalism. And he thinks there's a way to incentivize a country that is capitalist to change to the better capitalism, even if the people who have the power, aka the people with the capital, aka the people winning capitalism, don't want to. That they're somehow We're going to, within a capitalist system, diminish the power of capitalists to lobby politically enough that we can get a better capitalist system, even against the will of those capitalists. So let's bring him in. That's where we left off last time. This is Jay in Illinois. Jay, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. Did you once lie about your age? I feel like that was a different dude.
It might have been a different Jay. It was definitely Jay.
Okay.
Well, of course, you wouldn't admit. You would say it wasn't you, obviously.
And I assume you're calling in to talk to Jovan, since you're calling in. I mean, you kept doing it in the past where you kept just insisting that you would keep asking about communism, even though I've said many times I'm a socialist. I don't believe we can live in a stateless society, basically, as long as there are other states around, especially capitalist states. I think America has made the best case for why it's impossible, because the capitalists will come and fuck you. But are you doing it again where you're like, so Jimmy, now I'm going to again say that actually what you're advocating for is communism, and you're wanting me to now defend the communism that you don't understand, that I don't hold? Or are you calling to talk to Jovan, who you know is a communist?
Yeah, I'm mostly talking to Jovan, who is a communist, but I came prepared for a socialist conversation as well.
Okay, you guys have fun.
I mean, what's the beef with communism?
Yeah, I don't think a stateless political system can work in our modern world.
Why?
With other agents, especially without a state and a higher level of federal organization.
No, this is boring. This is boring because you're just stealing my argument. You are fundamentally against the economic system of communism and the economic system of socialism. So don't just take what I just said and parrot it. Him and I have already done this plenty. That's so fucking boring, and I don't feel like being bored. I think you need to defend that as a system of an economic system. It can't succeed because you do hold that position. I'm not interested in hearing you poorly. If I wanted to hear that argument, I would do it with Jovan, because I know I wouldn't fuck it up, as I am certain you're about to do. And I don't want to feel inclined to jump in to help you out. I hate when people make me to defend Biden. I'm not about to defend a moderate, a guy who voted for Trump. So stick to the economic system.
I didn't vote for Trump.
I recalled you said you did, or you were conservative before it all.
I think you're thinking of the wrong guy.
Oh, who'd you vote for?
Telling you, there's another Jay that keeps calling in about communism stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't a U.S. citizen until last year. I haven't been able to vote.
Oh, right. You're a youngin.
Who would you have voted for?
In 2024, Harris, yeah.
All right, so now stick to the economic system. I don't, like I said, don't just steal what I just said.
If your stance is just fundamentally communism can only work if the world is communist, okay, most communists agree with that. Like, we don't disagree. So it's just, there's nothing to really talk about.
Then why does that not seem just like, how would you even get there? Why would you hold a position that only works theoretically like that?
That doesn't mean that it only works theoretically. It would still work in practice, right? That doesn't mean it can only work theoretically. But I'm going to hold the position that exploits the working class the least.
It exploits the working class the least, but I would like to stay as close to reality as possible. My problem with it isn't that I feel any economic system given enough thought can provide that. I think communism specifically is unfeasible because it takes the entire world to be. Well, I think that's,
again, that doesn't make it not feasible. That just makes it hard. I have no issue holding a position that's hard.
How would it be feasible to have the entire world be under the exact same political system? What do
you mean? How is that feasible? I don't even know what the kind of question that's asking. You can't think of a world in which we're all under the same economic system? That's like impossible for you to picture?
Yeah, the one that requires the entire world to be.
That's a you issue, my boy.
So then would there not be war? Would there not be any conflict between nations?
Why wouldn't there could still be conflict between social groups? That wouldn't make us capitalists all of a sudden.
I'm not saying that would make you capitalist. I'm saying that it inherently would not work in a larger scale.
I disagree. Worked real well for indigenous tribes throughout like all of America prior to colonialization. Like they operated under a stateless system.
But I have no problem with it working in an agricultural society. I'm talking about modern cultures and modern economies.
Yeah, it would work. It would work better now because we have more technology. I don't know what's so hard about that.
Would it not?
Like just saying it won't. Like all you're saying is it won't work because it won't work. That's it. What's the actual like? It won't work because it's hard to do. Okay, it won't.
Bad vibes.
I'm sure before the Wright brothers flew a plane, everyone said this is impossible. This is incredibly hard. You're not going to make this work. And they said, okay, bet. Right? Something being hard does. If you have a critique of it past, it would be hard. Right? Hard does not equal impossible. Improbable doesn't even equal impossible. Do I think that you could say it's improbable that we'll get there? Yes, I think capitalism is too big right now. It's probably improbable that we're going to get to that. But just having the critique, it would be hard, is a lazy critique. You're not saying anything.
Do you think it is probable that we will get there, not unprobable?
No, I just said I think capitalism is too big right now. I don't think it's probable for us to reach communism, at least in my lifetime. I think capitalism is too big.
Maybe our lifetime. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm more radical on this than you. I think I don't know what the time frame is going to be. Communism's inevitable. The end of innovation. It's communism or extinction. If humanity is going to continue to innovate, it will innovate out its own existence. So the only state that could exist, the only society that could exist that people could still live in, unless we're just going to be the working class slaves for the 4-hour replacements or something for the machines, which even then, I don't think they would hire us because we'd be so inefficient compared to what they could build. Communism's inevitable. And so having a robust transition to communism or toward communism where we're in the meantime going like, that's when there's no need for any jobs. Well, you still need something for the people when there's no need for 20% of people to be employed or 10% or 5%. And you start working toward that better world in as many pieces as you can.
I also one of the things that I do want to point out is communism isn't calling for a abolition of the state. It's going to the state in communism, at least if we're looking at like through a classical like Marx and Engels theory, the state will dissolve on its own because of the destruction of class distinction. The state will serve no function. The state's whole function is is protecting class distinction. So when you no longer have class distinction, there will be no function for the state anymore. Like it quite literally will have nothing to do. It will just naturally dissolve.
Okay, so my biggest question there is like economy and commerce has existed since the beginning of society. It was just the best solution we could find to the need to trade goods between each other. Why do you assume that it is possible to have a human race without commerce, without a money system?
Without commerce, we could still have commerce.
Okay, without a economic system specifically, something with a capital exchange.
When we talk about money in the sense of communism, right, and we're talking about the use of money, we're talking strictly. Like, this is why I hate when people go classless, moneyless, stateless, right? Because when they say moneyless, everybody assumes, oh, I won't be able to like trade a currency for goods. No, when we're talking about money, what we're speaking about is this tool that is a value for labor. And that tool being utilized again by the bourgeois in order to devalue said labor. So it's not as simple as just like, oh, I go into a store and I want anything I want, I can grab, right? Because there will be no need for stores in that sense. So again, money kind of becomes a thing that we don't need anymore. Much like the state, it just sort of will dissolve on its own. Because if your needs are met, money kind of doesn't have a purpose anymore. Now we can talk about wants and how we function with wants, but I don't even care about wants, and I can't even get into a conversation about wants until needs are met. So we're not focused on the wants-based society yet. There could be a million ways we handle a wants-based society, and trade and barter has existed since the dawn of time. Marx would never in any relevant mindset go, let's get rid of bartering and trade. There's like literally no way to do that on a fundamental, like how we exist level.
It's just crazy, Jay. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but you could go learn the opposition like in books. And then when you're showing up, you're not just winging it.
I'm learning more. It's not like I'm coming in here without doing between times.
No, it is. It feels exactly like that. For you to say the thing about the money thing is the equivalent of when people are like, "Oh, you said abolish the police, so you think that if somebody's a rapist or a murderer, no one should go and arrest them." And it's literally like, yeah, that's literally that. It was that level of a dumb representation, or trying to engage our position from a standpoint of you not knowing the position at all. And I've thoroughly learned all of my opponent's positions. I just feel it's not that hard. I think you could do it.
Okay, so my argument specifically about the money wasn't. It was specifically because I had read that even in the earliest human societies, capital was one of the first things that came along. Trade and barter.
That's not the point. That was when you tried to then engage what the alternative would be. You did so in a way that showed you do not know what our position was, while asking us to defend an incorrect position.
So then clear it up for me. What, instead of money, how is commerce conducted?
What commerce?
Between goods and services without the need to trade between specific goods. Even without, do you think we're going to get to a situation in which there are no more, in which all needs are catered towards without a want-based economy mixed in with it?
Well, so it depends on how you're looking. Marx does not want commodities, period. Marx is actually like anti-commodity. So
what do you think?
Sure. I think that like if there's a need for entertainment, the society will provide. So if we're going like let's take it the way every internet right leader wants to take it. So if I want a PlayStation, how do I get a PlayStation? Well, if we see that there's a need in the society for PlayStations, one, the patent for PlayStation will not be locked, right? Anyone can build one if they have the skill, right? It's not going to be like only Sony builds PlayStations, right? And we'll probably get much better consoles because it won't be locked behind some monetary window, right? Like only these large companies can build these things. I've seen people on the internet build modded consoles that are way better than anything the big wigs at Sony and Microsoft are building, right? But if we're talking about markets, one of the confusion is we're going to go into like this everyone fends for themselves thing. There's a million ways we can run wants, right? We can do them off of lottery systems. We can do them as rewards for like work. But the only thing that we can't do is they can't be commodified to where one person has this surplus of items that you're only getting if you meet some sort of monetary threshold that can then go towards creating a class division, because that's just bad for everybody. And we've seen that that's bad for everybody. So like, if you want to do, wants, whatever way you want to do it, right? The society at large would decide how they want to run a wants-based system.
How would you, I'm asking, so a couple things there. One, I'll start with working specifically off the PlayStation metaphor. Like, I'm the guy who also makes fun consoles. I get that, but it's also the reason it requires a larger company is just because of the scale and the complexity. Even if at one point there is the average person, as it's lowered complexity enough, or an average person can start making a computer, the technological ceiling will have grown by then, right? And that's
communism is when no scale.
I'm not.
I'm getting tremendously bored. I mean, it's literally like, hey, okay, so tomorrow, here's the way. You guys, YouTubers on the internet, how would you build the society as though we wouldn't? As I've already told Jay before, first of all, there would be a lot of diversity according to region, and then second, I would certainly bring on a lot of people to build a robust thing. So right now, we've just got our like dicks in our hands, just like, and I think here's how I would like to get PlayStations. When communism equals no scale, apparently, with the I didn't know that about communism
yet. It requires no scale.
Where we're still talking to a person, and if we were getting into the meat and potatoes of like the important parts of the conversation, right now we're off having the like hors d'oeuvres that nobody needs. You fundamentally are still approaching a communist and a socialist as somebody who believes that healthcare is better served by capitalism. And these are the conversations that I think people are much, much more interested in. This is the conversation we're having right now is the kind of shit that they put on PBS to help you put your toddlers to sleep.
Look, I get it. You're not interested in the nitty gritty economics. That's
no,
fine.
I'm not interested in a conversation that can't deliver the answers. And so it kind of looks like where it's like, it's sitting here going like, okay, if tomorrow the world that we're saying would need several ginormous transition states between, and we should be working toward those transition states, and we won't even know what the problems are until we get there. But, you know, what if we just write a Battlestar Galactica? What version of Star Trek would your world look like? And knowing that whatever world we ended up with wouldn't be exactly like it's a perfectly unanswerable. And I feel like
I'm not asking.
I feel like we got you here with this with your capitalism the other day, where it's like, great, tell me the model of how this works in a current capitalist society of turning to the good capitalism if currently the bad capitalists with all the capital don't want to. And it was one of those situations where it was like
within a current capitalist society.
We're so far away from that. Like, what do you mean? Of course, you were anti-revolution, so your only way is to work inside of a current capitalist society.
I'm not. Look, that was the first. I'm not anti-revolution. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But it just won't.
I'm sorry. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You're what? A pathetic revolution?
Yes,
apathetic revolution?
I don't think this is where my strengths are. I think my strengths are getting into understand economics better and how it can serve a larger nation. But my main question, I'm not asking for exactly how the commerce would work. I'm literally asking without, fine, are you saying there's no currency? Is that what you're saying? Just so, because that's what I got from it. Am I incorrect, Jovan?
There could be a form of currency as long as the currency is not used to commodify labor.
Right. He's already actually answered it. He's already answered it. And so when you said, is that what you're saying, Jovan? And I literally heard you ask that and go, he's answered this question already. So, and then you said, is that what you're saying? He said there could be a form of currency. And then you tried to jump in on him and go, there couldn't be a form of currency. And like, it's, again, this is so boring of we are just engaging a person who's not here defending their actual position. You are asking us to educate you on the structure of communism. And like, here's the 100 ways you could run that. I like this one the most or whatever, when fundamentally you don't have a basic understanding. And this is why I say I'm finding this incredibly boring.
I'm more than happy to defend my economic stances.
Right.
You asked me the question.
Please defend your proposition. Please defend your proposition that capitalism better serves a population's healthcare system than socialism.
I don't think I made that proposition. What I said is there should be a federalized healthcare system because it is in the nation's best interest to do that, both profit-wise and regular. Medicare for all, and there can also be private alternatives. I think
that's not Medicare for all. That's not Medicare for all. That's public option.
Sure. Okay, then that's what I'm saying. That
people who are for Medicare for all are somewhat open to the idea of supplementary insurance, where you have insurance to cover things that are outside of needs, though a lot of us are very wary of that, because then in a capitalist society, like dental right now is not considered healthcare in America. It's considered a separate healthcare than medical care. And so what lobbyist gets to start saying like, yeah, no, we want to do a supplementary thing for, optional things. By the way, let's make vision and cataracts optional. So public option is still a capitalist. Basically, it's a preserve the fifis of the capitalists and give them the power to each year try and make Medicare for all cover less, so you need them more. So I'm for removing the profit incentive for healthcare completely.
That I understand your position there. What I'm saying is that I don't think it will inherit. What? And
what is your position?
Right. I think limiting healthcare to one supplier will, at the very least, there's a larger option for it to become more bureaucratized. And in a
what do you mean by supplier?
Wait. So what?
Supplier. Yeah.
Payer.
Yeah. So I'm not saying it shouldn't be. There should be a competent social healthcare system. And if there are people who can do it better, it should be. I'm just against the complete eradication of for-profit.
Wait. I just really want to clarify something. Let's say it does become more bureaucratized. So what?
That can limit its ability to service the people.
Based on what? Based on what are you making this claim?
That increased. Yeah, sure. For example, there's NEPA. I'm forgetting what the acronym is for, but it was meant as a way for any new construction to be required to go through a long list of environmental programs, which is generally a good thing. But the way it's used usually today is to block low-cost housing on any grounds of just thousands of reasons from NEPA. It's the bureaucracy has.
Wait. Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
That's a claim you can't just say and run away from. You can't just say,
sure, yeah,
NEPA is hold on. What evidence do you have that the bulk of these declines from NEPA aren't directly tied to some sort of actual issue that they're trying to prevent?
I can give you one in particular. The one that I came with was UC Berkeley's. They were wanting to open more student housing, and then some also homeless shelters, which were shut down due to overabundance of noise in campus town, and like other NIMBY stuff. I'd have to pull up the specifics because I just have the major points in my notes, but that's a specific thing that was caused by.
That wasn't NEPA. That was California's Environmental Quality Act. That wasn't NEPA. So I don't know what are we talking about?
California specific version of NEPA.
No, it's a completely different thing.
So now we're having to switch off of NEPA. We were bringing up NEPA, but actually, for the record, I need to not do NEPA. I need to do what I'm calling California NEPA. This is where we're at. I don't know, man. I just think that no one should make money based on whether or not you get cancer. That's kind of where I'm at.
But also, I'm just going to point out that even the thing you're talking about, UC Berkeley was found to have not done proper environmental studies to open their stuff. So I'm glad they weren't allowed to open it.
Not found.
The California Supreme Court found it doesn't matter. If you don't do a proper environmental study, you should not get to build a building.
Also, it's worth comparing to what the current system is that you would say maybe suffers from a lack of bureaucracy. And the reason why you would say that is they're incentivized by a lack of bureaucracy because they increase profits by engaging fewer people. So by having less people to review things and shit, they instead create systems by which they can streamline rejection of claims. So first of all, in a Medicare for all system, rejections of claims would go down, more people would get, and having more people to review if a claim is complicated or you have to worry about fraud, then the incentive of the quote unquote bureaucracy in that system is to just prevent fraud, not to try to maximize profits and make sure that people aren't there, getting their knee replaced when isn't some amount of knee pain acceptable? That would be the point of that. It would be a totally, and so I don't know that I concede to you that it would be even a larger bureaucracy, because again, they would be only motivated to prevent fraud, not maximize profits. That's what the current people in the way in the healthcare system are there to do.
Yes, I'm also against the current system. These are profit incentives and profit motives that can be changed.
You want a profit motive. You want a profit motive for healthcare.
Right. But you also just didn't engage my actual point. You engaged something else that you wanted to. You had said that it would be worse because of the increase of bureaucracy. And I addressed that I don't accept that there'd be an increase of bureaucracy in a system that is only motivated to stop fraud. Why would there be an increase of bureaucracy when the current, you could call it like the private industry bureaucracy, is a robust group of people there motivated to use those people to maximize profits by denying more claims wherever they can get away with. So again, my point was completely missed, and you instead just went, I'm not saying I'm for the system, I want a social system. I was engaging your point that it would be worse because of more bureaucracy. Jovan already addressed, why would it make it worse to have more? And then I'm challenging, would it? Would it be more?
Yes, the first part of my thing was that you said the profit motives cause that, and then you cut me off before I was in the process of attacking your argument. I'm saying I can pull up more examples. I don't have them on me right now, so I'd have to Google them. But yes, inherently.
But your example is not something bad. Your example is not something bad happening. Like UC Berkeley getting temporarily paused until they did the proper procedures is not a bad thing. It actually shows me that the bureaucracy is probably working.
Like, what are proper procedures? As far as
doing proper environmental reviews. They have to do proper environmental reviews and see how the building that they're building is going to affect both the people around them and the ecosystem at large. You can't just build a building and not do that.
Do you know what when I looked this up, the main problems of environmental study was noise pollution from other nearby residents.
That's still a problem. That's still an issue.
Not one major enough to stop
yes,
low-cost
it is.
housing and shelter.
I'm sorry. You might not think that that's an issue, but the people who live there might. But fuck them, right? Fuck those people that live there.
By the way,
I'm open. Just FYI, it was only real quick, Jimmy. It was only temporary. UC Berkeley got to build the fucking housing. So what? Yeah. They had a temporary pause so they could fix something that was an issue with the neighborhood. Good. Now there are issues like this where that's bad, but this is not one of them.
Years and fucking millions of dollars specifically for the fucking legal costs.
Did you just say 15 years?
How long? It was around 10 to 15 years. Was I wrong? How long was that?
No, this was in 2022.
In 2022 is when it finished.
No, 2022 is specifically when the California Supreme Court ruled on it. In 2021 is when they planned it. It was denied in 2022, and then in 2022, the California Supreme Court made the ruling. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Let me double check this because
it is really funny that you said and I was in the point of dismantling your argument, and you still haven't addressed, which was mine, which is what you were apparently said. You were taking the mic back, which is that your actual declaration.
Yes, you don't agree that it can. I think I've provided enough.
No, I gave the reasoning why it doesn't necessarily have to, and you basically just want us to engage on. No, it does have to. Not only do I not think it doesn't necessarily have to, I think actually you'd be able to have a smaller, if generally your motivation is not to reject as many claims as the company can get away with to make money, generally you only have the people in place to prevent fraud, and generally fraud is difficult to commit in the first place because if it's a medically necessary treatment and you're on American soil, we would just do it. So the frauds that you would actually only be going after mostly would be like money going to providers who are claiming to do surgeries that aren't doing surgeries, which there already has to be there's already a robust both private and public investigation group for. So I'm actually failing to see why I should believe it would increase the bureaucracy in the first place. Though I am open to it, it actually seems like it would be a much smaller operation. Oh, yeah, it's totally silent. This is even more boring than the conversation before.
Yeah, I was trying to double check my sequence shit. I won't do that right now then. It's...
Oh, so you weren't... No, all right. Jay, go. We've got other calls. That basically was, I actually wasn't listening to your point that I was giving back to you to now engage with and prove wrong. I decided while you were talking, I'm going to go and read some other shit instead. I'm not doing that shit, man. You can try again another day when you've done some more. So far, it's been, you don't know what our positions are, but you'd like us to defend positions and presuppositions you have of what those positions must have. And I'm not doing it. But as soon as a person admits that they're not actually listening, as you've just done, that you're just doing your own thing, I have no desire to continue. So you have a good one, Jay.
Have a good one.
Oh,
anyway, Jonathan Majors is going to star in a fucking... Oh, Jeff came into my chat the other day.
His name is Jeff.
Crying about a video I posted, like, from a call he had, going, you mischaracterized me, you edited the video, and then we played the video and it wasn't edited.
Hey, MAGA, we'd like to hear from you why you support Trump, why you support conservatism, how Trump embodies conservatism, how you're even getting out of him what he promised. We'd love to hear that. I'd love to talk to somebody who thinks that Donald Trump is being, his financial compensation is fair, who thinks that he's doing a noble thing as president, because it's the alternative, the job. He would have made so much more money if he hadn't. Spoiler alert, it isn't. That's not true. He is making more money than he ever has as president. So you can call in 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. Tell us where we're going wrong. Explain it to us. We want to talk to you. In the meantime, Jeff in New York. Jeff, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Just fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good a job is Trump doing?
I don't know what I would give him. Maybe like a 5.
Okay. Are there some things you think he's a 10 on and some things you think he's a 0 on?
Yeah.
What do you think he's a 10 on? How's he doing on immigration?
I would say I can appreciate that he's kind of
1 to 10.
Bringing attention to the problem. What was that? Sorry.
1 to 10. We'll get to the details. 1 to 10 on immigration.
Okay. I would give him a 6.
Managing the economy.
Managing the economy. I'd probably give him a 7 on that.
Foreign policy, including wars.
Foreign policy, I'd have to give him like a 1 or a 0.
What is something you would give him a 10 on? You said there would be some things that are 10s. What's some of your 10s? How about treatment of trans people?
I guess I wouldn't necessarily give him a 10 on anything, but I feel like
1 to 10. How does he treat trans
rating
people?
On him would be 0.
Do you dislike how his approach on trans people, or you just think that trans people dislike it?
I dislike it.
What would you give him the highest score on? Like, what's he doing best at?
I would probably give my highest would probably be on the economy, I think.
So a 7, he is doing the best job managing the economy. What are some of the reasons that you think he's doing a good job? What would you have rated Biden real quick on it?
I would probably give Biden a 4.
So what thing is Donald Trump doing different than Biden that you think gives him 3 more points?
I would say that there's more things that he's doing that kind of promote economic activity, which is always good.
Like what? Are the tariffs a positive or a negative?
Well, the tariffs, it's kind of complicated with the tariffs because
not really. That's
I
positive
can
or
see
negative,
that they're having a negative effect right now.
right? Because unilateral, like that's an old economic. Take an economics 101 course. Unilateral tariffs are bad, so they're having a negative effect now, and will continue to have a negative effect. So the tariffs are right now bad, but you trust they're going to be good one day. Why?
I guess I don't know if that makes me naive, but I mean it's something that he said would happen. So
yes, that would make you naive.
I'm
correct.
I'm like, you know.
In fact, that's not actually what he said would happen. He said it's good now. So no, what you just said isn't naive. It's incorrect and maybe a lie, because Donald Trump is touting that the tariffs are presently successful, that they are good, and even his new unilateral tariffs, since his Supreme Court handed him back his own ass on tariffs, the new way he's doing, he's saying it's actually even better. So you said it's bad now. He says it's good now. Which one of you is telling the truth?
I mean, I would say that it's bad now. That would be the truth.
So why do you trust that it's going to be good later when Trump is saying it's going to be good now and it's going to be good later? You know he's not telling the truth when he says good now. Why do you believe when he says good later, he is telling the truth?
You do have a point there. Like,
yeah,
if he's lying about it now, yeah.
What would you rate his healthcare plan? That's do you know what percentage of our economy is our GDP is healthcare?
I know you guys said it before. I think is it 19%?
Yeah, it's like crazy. It's like 1/5 of our GDP. So it definitely is the economy. How's Trump doing on healthcare?
I don't think he's doing that great with it.
Right.
Only because, and it's kind of like another thing that he promised and people voted him in for was something better than Obamacare, but he's not really delivering on that.
Got it. So far we've gotten to the tariffs are bad now. He says they'll be good later. I have a good point to you that he said they're good now. Why trust him? So you agree with me that that's a good point to doubt that. Now the thing that is 20% of our economy, almost a fifth of our economy, you think he's doing a bad job on that as well. So where's the good stuff that warrants him a 7? Because people didn't lose their Obamacare subsidies under Biden, and Biden only got a 4 for you. So where's the good stuff?
I would say it's mostly on the tax cuts and people being able to keep more of their money rather than it going to the government.
Right, but that hasn't happened because affordability is going down. People are spending more to meet their basics, and that's not outperforming how much their costs have gone up. In fact, when you say the tax cuts, you're describing something that disproportionately went to rich people. Then Donald Trump put tariffs in place, which disproportionately hurts small businesses. Small businesses have been going out, declaring Chapter 11, and also new small businesses being formed less often. So which means large businesses are actually, by Donald Trump's tax cuts and tariffs, having their competition removed. So if you imagine, I always use Walmart and a grocery store. A grocery store goes out of business because it was a small mom and pop. They couldn't afford the tariffs. Walmart doesn't like the tariffs, but they can afford them in the meantime to survive however long they have to survive Trump. And now in, let's say, a little city like Lampasas, Texas, the private or the small owned grocery store, all of their competition from them is gone. They absorb all of those customers. So technically, their revenue's still going up overall because small businesses are being put out of business. And as they get more and more of that market share, as they get more and more of we're the guys in town, they also have less responsibility to their workers. So even as all this stuff is happening, they then get to put out memos and go, look, the tariffs are scary. We don't know what they're going to do. So we're just going to freeze wages here. And if your wages are frozen in a non-profit sharing company, if your wages are frozen, you're actually getting a demotion every year. You're getting a pay cut every year because cost of expenses go up, but you're making the same amount of money. So you're technically making less. You can afford less of your life. So you said the tax cuts, you said the tariffs. Those have put, there's definitive data. This isn't subtle. This isn't a guess. This has happened. We're at record rates of small businesses, Chapter 11, and record rates, lows of small businesses not forming. So that what I just described to you is happening, and those are the things you said he's doing well and got him a 3-point boost over Biden. So I'm asking you again, is it because of the stock market? Because the stock market would be that same thing. Of course, they're doing better. The small businesses are going out of business, and the stock market is the main value in the stock market are these big companies. And the AI boom, which is in a ginormous bubble, and we're all just pretending we're not going to get super fucked into a hyper recession, if not depression, when the AI and the chips bubble breaks. But, anyway, so Jeff, where are you left now with the economy's actually pretty good under Trump?
I mean, I guess he's not doing as good of a job as I thought he was. I appreciate that you brought up small businesses. I was under the assumption that the small businesses were struggling a lot more under Biden's policies.
No, they were actually being formed way more often. Imagine, why would you think that though? Who pays the tariffs? Do the foreign entities selling us or the business buying?
The business buying would pay them.
Right. So if you own, again, let's just say a small grocery store and you're importing stuff, if you're a small business owner and your margins are already tight at a grocery store, because that's already happened because of monopolies, you're making pennies on milk and shit. So you already have tight ass margins. And now you get the tariffs added, and Walmart doesn't have to increase their prices as much as you do, because if you match them, you'll lose money. How would that work? How would the small businesses do better?
I thought it was because the inflation was calming down from where it was under Biden.
Biden already had calmed inflation down. The inflation happened because of COVID. And in fact, it happened in America. We had lower inflation than the rest of the developed world. So American policies actually prevented it from being as bad here as it was through much of Europe, much of Asia. So our inflation, while bad, was still better than other places, directly tied to the policies of that time. So had Donald Trump been in office, all we can say is it would have been different. Obviously, Republicans are going to think it would have been even better, though most of the world looked at Biden's ability to lower the effect of inflation and go, goddamn, wonder how he pulled that off. So again, what numbers are you basing these on? And I know you called in mostly wanting to correct that. I think I said that you're a fascist because you support fascism. And this is why I think you support fascism, because you've picked a team and then just assumed all the facts come with it. And the team you picked is the team doing Project 2025, which is fascism. And you've never seen beyond. This is my team. I don't know. I don't actually know how their policies work.
Real quick, I just want to point out something. Jeff, you sit in my chat all the time. You sit in Jimmy's chat all the time. I know you sit in Ari's chat a bunch. Why do you not know these things that Jimmy brought up? It's not like we don't talk about them daily.
I don't know. I mean, that is a good point. I mean, so some of the stuff I've heard before. I don't have that great of a memory.
But even just the fundamental, I know you've been in my chat when I've explained why the tariffs are not working. So it's weird to have you come in and go, well, I think Trump's doing good economically because the tariffs are doing good economically.
I'm trying to remember, how MAGA is your dad?
He's pretty MAGA.
When are you going to get him to call me?
How MAGA is your dad?
Dude, I've been talking about MAGA dads for the last couple of weeks. We do need to. How MAGA is your...
Can you understand my frustration a little bit in that, Jeff?
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. I don't know. I guess, I mean, like, I guess it's kind of like what I was saying before, that I guess it just makes me a naive person that I was, like, still keeping the faith that eventually things were going to work out and that, like, everybody else didn't know what they were talking about. But I definitely, like, I see where you guys are coming from, like, when I have these conversations. And in regards to the because you brought up
before you do that, Jeff, before you do that,
yeah,
let's say tomorrow there was an election, and I'm going to pray and hope Donald Trump doesn't do his third term shenanigans, but Steve Bannon has said he will, so it probably will happen. Let's say there's an election tomorrow, and let's say it's JD Vance and take your poison, AOC. I don't know who the Democrats are putting up. I don't care, but let's just say that's the case. Mm-hmm. Who are you voting for if there was an election tomorrow?
Between JD Vance and AOC.
It can be anybody. It could be whoever you want it to be against.
I'm honestly not sure. And I only say that because I've pretty much always voted Republican since I was old enough to vote. And I do feel enticed to vote the other way, especially recently. But there are things that the Democratic Party promotes that, like, kind of, you know, drags me away from them too, if you know what I mean.
If we can do it, you can do it. Jesus Christ. What part of Project 2024? Like, oh, go ahead.
I just want to know what. I want to know what specifically. Donald Trump is about to engage in a war with Iran, something that he himself said that if a president strikes Iran, it's because that president is too weak of a negotiator. Going against his own words, because he does that all the time, right? We're doing it only for Israel, right? We're probably not even doing it for oil. We're doing it for two reasons: Israel, and to disrupt Chinese oil markets, because China is our biggest competitor economically. He's doing this.
Let's not forget, we can also now inflate the price of oil, which makes the heavy crude oil that nobody wants, that we just got from Venezuela, financially. So gas is going to go up. But those barrels of oil are no longer more expensive than the barrels of oil everybody else. So now he gets to say, and I saw this coming. You know, it's worse everywhere else because I anticipated this. That's why I invaded Venezuela first. That's going to be the...
So you have all of this coming from Trump and the Republicans who are just giving him carte blanche to do whatever he wants. What is it that the Democrats... Listen, I'm not a Democrat. I don't much care for the Democrats, but my reasons are going to be because they're imperialists. What reasons do you have that you're going, well, I'm going to vote Trump instead? What's your, like, I'm going to go with this side instead? What could it... Or is it because the Democrats like trans people? Is it because they want to let people have abortions? Like, what is the thing Democrats are doing that you think is so bad that instead we should start a war with Iran or Venezuela, or Trump should pardon drug traffickers, or he should censor the Epstein files? Like, what is worse than all of that?
Well, so since you brought up the war with Iran, I was really upset when I woke up yesterday morning and I saw that news. And
no, but just answer the question, Jeff. I understand the temptation to, like, just answer the question of what we've had so far. None of this is stuff we didn't tell you was coming. Literally, we had a guy call the other day who was like, and no one knew, and he just kept listing shit that I told y'all was coming if Trump got elected. And I pointed him to my catalog where you can find me warning people that that shit's going to come. So the question is, what's worse than what has happened, none of which is the shit we can say we didn't know he was going to do because he's been saying he was going to do it?
My biggest problem is that neither side represents the conservative values that I would want to see.
Okay, so now you're going to go with the very specific conservative value, because if that's your answer, what you're implying is there is a conservative value that you have that Donald Trump embodies and the Democrats do not, and that value is worth all the rest of the stuff that we just addressed because that value is not being met. So what is that specific value?
Well, the biggest thing that I can think of right now is, America first. And that was something.
That's just a slogan. That's not a value.
Even if that were the case, Trump's not doing America first. Trump's doing Israel first. So even if that's the case, not a thing.
So you can't
Trump
just say a
hasn't done anything that puts America and the people of America above anything. He actually doesn't give a shit about the people of America. He prefers himself and his rich friends to all of the people of America. So you said specifically there are just things that the Democrats want or are doing that you don't like. What are those things?
Saying the slogan America First. It seems like as much as that's a joke, Jeff, that's what you're coming off as. Yeah, but he says the words America First. Was it very America First of him when he convinced his own people, his supporters, to buy a bunch of Trump coin? Then he had foreign entities pump it so that the value of it would go up in exchange for favors. Then he sells it. He makes billions of dollars. Then the price plummets. So a bunch of those supporters who got in, they panic sell on it. In other words, and his followers who follow him blindly participate in his dump, and he has now doubled in his first year his net worth using that scheme. Is that America First, or is that literally exploiting not just Americans, you, Jeff, MAGA supporters? Did I just lose power?
You glitched out for me pretty bad. You're back.
Okay, I think
you glitched out pretty bad.
My
Jeff, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can still hear you guys.
Okay. He sold out you, MAGA supporters, to double his net worth. That's what happened. Was that America First? Or was that Donald Trump first?
I would agree that that's Donald Trump first.
So when was the America First policy? What is the America First policy he has? The Democrats were against. Well, he said he was America First, so I'm letting him.
No, but that's not something that the Democrats, he said specifically, there was stuff the Democrats do that he doesn't like. I don't want to talk about stuff he likes the other side does that they don't. What are the things they're doing that he doesn't like?
Either direction is fine, though. He said America First was the reason. So if he has a policy that the Democrats weren't willing to do, that is an America First policy that is worth everything else, that he had to have Trump for that America First policy, to me, that more than fills what he was trying to say.
No, because I think he doesn't want to talk about the actual reason he doesn't like the Democrats.
Yeah. Well, he said he likes trans people. I thought it was that too at first.
Okay, so what I was trying to say was basically right now, from what I can see, is that the problem that I have is neither party is now representing that. And because of everything we talked about, where on the Republican side we have this
wait, great. But you said you would vote. You said you would vote Republicans over Democrats. So if they're both not doing that, then it's something else. There's another reason. So what is the thing you don't like that Democrats are doing?
I think it's mostly the
AAVE.
It's the narrative that has been shaped by the party lately. The kind of like anti-capitalist, just like there's people on that side where they're like, we don't want to say the Pledge of Allegiance. There's like
Jeff,
that's what
Jeff,
I mean
hold
by
on,
like
Jeff. I need you to
anti-American.
understand one thing. Jeff, I need you to understand one thing. There is not a single Democrat in office or currently running for office in the Democratic Party that is anti-capitalist. There's not a single one. Not a single one.
You've literally come up with the dumbest one too. You basically just said they don't want to say the poem, which every Democrat running for office that I know of says the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know of any Jehovah's Witness ones. They don't want to mandate it. They don't want to force you to, because we have freedom of speech in this country. So you can either be pro-Constitution or MAGA. It is an or. MAGA is not pro-Constitution. There are way more examples of this than that.
Jeff, what's the last sentence of the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sorry, wait, hold on.
Starts with
liberty and justice for all.
Is that sentence true? Is that sentence accurate?
I would like to believe so.
No, I don't. Oh, hold on. I would love to believe so.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to know, is it currently, in the way our country runs, accurate?
No.
So why should I stand for the pledge? If the pledge is making a claim that this country has liberty and justice for all, and you've acknowledged with me that that's not the case, why should I stand for the pledge? I would be lying.
I don't know.
Okay. So Jeff, it just seems like okay, I'm going to tell you what it seems like. Okay. Because me and you have had contentious back and forths and non-contentious back and forth. So I'm going to speak to you plainly. Okay. I hope you understand there's no disrespect here, but I'm just going to speak to you plainly like an adult, because that's what you are. It seems like the only reason you want to hold on to conservative values, even though conservatism has quite literally never been linked to the good stuff in history, is because you grew up conservative. It doesn't seem like you're critically thinking about your conservatism and what that looks like and how that operates and how that takes place. So I don't understand that is it just that you're afraid to let go? There's nothing to be afraid of. I promise. We have cookies on our side.
I would say that you're probably right about that. That it definitely does have a lot to do with, these are the values that I've known my whole life because I grew up with them. And yeah, let's say
you on the conservative side, let's say you guys get your way. And for the next 20 years, America votes in nothing but actual conservative leaning politicians. What do you want to see at the end of that 20 years? Like, what's the goal? What's the end goal for America?
I don't know. I guess it would just be like, people being able to be more financially independent, and kind of like that, like having like successors in economically in that way, where
when you talk financial independence, when you talk financial independence, right? You said something there. You said people not relying on the government, but financial independence isn't just I have the money to buy the stuff I need, right? Like I could be financially independent, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck. This would be bad. Right now, the stat is I think it's 60% of Americans can't afford a surprise $500 bill. So when we talk about what our goals are, right? As a leftist, my goal is to meet the material needs of every single person on this planet. If you said, Jovan, we put you in charge 20 years from now, what's the goal? Not a single person is hungry. Not a single person is thirsty. Not a single person needs to want for medical care. Not a single person is uneducated because they can't afford it, right? These are just base level things I want, and then we can argue about how we get there. But when I ask you what you want, it's, well, people should be able to afford things without the government, right? Nothing about what you're telling me is like how we make people's lives better. So just think about it again. 20 years from now, you have 20 years with nothing but conservatives in office. What is going to functionally look different from the country now to then? What are the functional things you want to see changed? You can even just give one or two. It doesn't need to be a long list.
For the country to be more independent in the sense that we're making most of what we need right here.
Why?
And
why? What does that change? Like, how does that materially make our lives better?
Also worth pointing out, every Republican who ever says this I know knows nothing, because we can't. Literally, we can't. Woodworking got more expensive because we went to war with Russia, because certain woods only grow that we use that are reliable in Russia. We don't have the environment to make Baltic birch in America.
You didn't see that Republican politician say, why don't we just produce more bananas here? You didn't see that? It's the best. Yeah. So, but again, Jeff, what's the reason? Like, you want to bring manufacturing, you want to onshore manufacturing to the US. What do you think that will do?
I mean, it's kind of a multitude of things. There's more jobs that people can work here.
We already have jobs that are going unfilled because companies need to Here's the thing about jobs that I need you to know. Jobs are artificially inflated to where there has to be, if I'm remembering the equation right, there has to be, is it more workers than there are jobs available? Like, there just has to be in order for a capitalist economy to work.
Yep.
So somebody not going to fix
to be left behind.
Yeah, like as long as there is capitalism, you're not going to fix this issue of more jobs. And Trump only brought 50 jobs onshored through his tariffs. 50. There have been only confirmed 50 jobs.
Let me make it
onshored.
Let me make it simple for Jeff. Jeff, I'm going to give you a current day problem that is real. And I would say that it defines not just the difference between Jovan and I, who are obviously on the leftist end, but even Democrats and Republicans, and make it a little bit easier for me to vote for a Democrat, knowing they're at least working toward something on this end. So I'm going to give you a real life problem. In 2025, year of our president, 40% of insured Americans, this is specifically insured, we're not talking about the uninsured, they're even more fucked. 40% of insured Americans, obviously in the United States, reported not getting necessary medical care despite being insured because of the additional cost it would have taken to get that care. Now that clearly means a system is doing something wrong. When the people with insurance, almost half, 40%, are still not getting care because of cost. What would you do, and what are Republicans that you are voting for doing to fix that issue?
Well, that's kind of the thing too, is that nothing's really being done to fix it. But
by Republicans, you are correct.
The idea was to come up with something better than the Affordable Care Act.
Right. No.
But
I didn't ask you. So here's what you just said. Let me just respond. Let me just repeat it in simpler terms. My solution to that would be to do a solution to that. That's not what the solution is. Saying something better than Obamacare, because I can tell you, Medicare for all would be my thing. Most Democrats are at least pursuing a public option, and a public option would have, at least at first, until capitalism figures out a way to fuck it too. This is why I don't support a public option, only as a stopping ground, as if I must, but would lower your own out-of-pocket costs, as well as provide a second billing level, basically the government billing level, incentivizing providers to take you even if you have to set up your copay on a payment plan. That's not that good for them, because they're still going to get paid something because they can be confident the government's going to pay them. It's why people on Medicare right now, they're doing a lot better than the average person is when it comes to, if they need healthcare, they can generally get it, though not as good as they should be able to do, and that's because of the competition from the private market. So once again, not a better plan than the ACA, a specifically conservative America First plan that Donald Trump is in favor of that would solve that issue.
I don't think there is any.
Within capitalism, or any at all? Or like basically the right couldn't come up with one?
Yeah, that the right couldn't come up with one.
So what problem could, like, which sector would you like me to give you a similar problem from that you can tell me the right-wing solution and why it would be superior to the Democrats? Why don't, Jeff, we make this where we leave off?
I just real quick, I just want to mention, like, in the future, I wouldn't even frame it right, Democrats versus Republicans. I think we should keep the framing left versus conservative, because there are tons of conservative Democrats who just want to maintain the same thing that conservative Republicans do.
Sure.
And I think, Jeff, you can do it. I have faith in you that you can deconstruct these conservative leanings, being that you recognize that you only hold them because you grew up with them.
Yeah, I was only engaging on this because your specific question to him was, if it happened tomorrow, I don't know who the Democrats are putting up against J.D. Vance, but who are you voting for? And he said J.D. Vance.
When you were gone, we had switched. I had asked him a different question.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's why I was engaging there at that place. There isn't something, even though I am not a Democrat and I don't like the Democrats, it is not subtle the amount that the Democrats are better than the Republicans on every issue. And you seem to have been unable to find a single issue that we couldn't demonstrate that on. So my homework for you, so we can move on from this call, is go find something. Go find something that the conservatives are doing better than the Democrats, first of all. And then obviously we're also going to bring up the leftist position, because they're doing nothing better than the actual leftist position. Leftism is superior in every way. And so if the Democrats are only a stepping stone, could only be seen as a stepping stone on the way to, then it would still be a superior solution to whatever the conservatives are doing. We're going to leave you with that, Jeff, and no more saying no socialist healthcare in the live chats until you can actually defend that position. Or actually, I think you just say no socialism in America ever until you can actually defend that position. You're going to keep that shit away from our live chats because it's nonsense. Cool.
Okay.
See you, dude. I have to pull up something before we take this next call, because I want to read this to the caller, because it puts into words better than I can my position. But I'll find it while we're talking. Farav in Michigan, Farav has called in before, is calling in. It seems to defend the war actions in Iran. Farav, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. How are you?
Hi, thanks. How are you?
I'm alive.
Hey. Okay, you can hear
I'm
me, right?
living in a state that's descending pretty good into fascism.
Okay,
True.
so I'm from a country that actually is fascist and hopefully gets liberated soon.
Why would you expect that it's going to be? Wait, what are you saying? Hopefully it's going to be what soon?
Liberated.
By America?
You remember me, right? No,
yes, Farab.
I'm
well, I
from
see
Iran
your
originally.
notes. I vaguely remember you. You believe America and Israel are liberating your country?
Yes, I'm an Iranian, and America and Israel are liberating my country. And they already killed Ayatollah, who was the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the world. And somehow
nobody's mad the Ayatollah is dead.
Thing.
Yeah, no, nobody thinks that's a bad thing. No one thinks nobody is sad the Ayatollah. No. I was saying nobody's sad the Ayatollah is dead. Fuck that guy.
Oh.
Fuck him in his face. I am opposed to Donald Trump bypassing the Congress and once again going to war with my tax dollars on behalf of Israel. And then I'm also opposed to MAGA people like you who have joined the cult and never go, yes, America is liberating my Middle Eastern country. Now, how is that when America considers themselves the liberators of a Muslim country, of a Middle Eastern country? How has that gone for those countries? Remember when we liberated Iraq and Afghanistan?
Yes, and Iraq is liberated right now.
How are those things going?
Much better right now. In the short term,
from the liberation by America, George W. Bush's Iraq liberation, you find responsible for the Iraq is just way better right now.
Do you think Iraq is doing better right now or under Saddam Hussein?
Post ISIS and all the shit that just happened, the consequences of ISIS. We're talking about today and a secondary war that happened.
In the long term,
and a never giving Iraq. Iraq will look basically now for the foreseeable future the way Israel wants it to look.
Well, which is not necessarily a bad thing because Israel doesn't necessarily want a bad thing.
Wait, are you a pro-Israel? Are you a pro-Israel Iranian?
There are so many pro-Israel Iranians.
And are you one of them?
I mean, I believe Israel is the lesser of the two evils.
Was there a genocide in Gaza?
Yes, but I think Ayatollah of Iran is as much responsible for it, if not more. So if we want to help...
Okay, so Israel and the Ayatollah did the Gazan genocide together, maybe the Ayatollah, in your opinion. And so anyway, the genocide people,
Can I explain how?
You're glad the Ayatollah is dead, but you have warm feelings for the other half of your genocide.
No, I'm not saying I have warm feelings. I'm just saying he's the lesser of the two evils. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have to side with him. But right now, I have to side with the lesser of the two evils.
Well, the people...
Jimmy, just real quick, is killing 150 schoolgirls the lesser of two evils?
Yeah.
Who? In Iran? Oh, that incident in Iran, if we're talking about, that was Ayatollah. It's they done it, so they make Israel and America look like yes, it was.
Nope. Both international reporting has confirmed. Both international reporting has confirmed that it came from an Israeli missile. America and Israel have not denied it and have even said that there were civilian casualties in the strikes. There have been no reporting that has said it was from Ayatollah.
I'm sure it was a misfire of let's figure out how to make this the Hamas. I bet Hamas was shooting from a hospital there.
Yeah, all those schools that Israel blew up in Palestine or in Gaza were definitely misfires too. Yeah.
And the hospitals. The Ayatollah actually shot those. He had it was his rocket.
No, Ayatollah has funded Hamas, and that cause that gave Israel an excuse.
No, hold on. Whoa. Hamas only exists because of Netanyahu.
Yeah, no shit.
So if there was no Hamas, do you think Netanyahu could do the genocide in Gaza?
Israel was doing a genocide in Gaza before Hamas existed, so yeah.
That's also just a dumb line of logic.
Netanyahu
if there were
thought
no
that
Jews,
he could handle
who could have done the Holocaust?
But Netanyahu thought he could handle Hamas better than he handle the PLF, the Palestine Liberation Front. He thought he could handle Hamas better, so he helped fund and prop up Hamas. And when he wasn't able to do that,
exactly. So you're proving my point. So as long as Hamas exists, it's more likely that Israel is able to genocide people of Gaza. So if we take out the biggest sponsor of Hamas, Hamas will be destroyed. People have got the liberator.
What? This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Hang on a second.
How did that work out? How'd the regime change work out in Venezuela?
That was not a regime change. That was a surgery.
Right. We removed one guy, and the regime, they called it regime change, and the one guy's still there, or the guy's party's still there. They didn't turn the government back over to. So in my case, I just keep going with what's our record so far and what's Trump's record so far. He didn't turn Venezuela over to the people. He kept it with the regime. The correct people, when you're saying lesser of two evils, let's go with the not evil. The people deserve to run Iran. The Ayatollah was in the way of that. Donald Trump, by the way, are you an American citizen now, or you're from Iran, or are you an American citizen? Do you support the American Constitution?
Citizen, yes. I do, yes.
So do you can at least condemn Donald Trump bypassing the Constitution? Like literally what he did was anti-constitutional. Do you say like, I wanted him to do it, but in a constitutional way? I do condemn the way in which he killed the Ayatollah?
Strike is not war. That depends on the definition of war. The war has a definition. What has Donald Trump done technically is not unconstitutional. It was a
I'm sorry, loophole. You believe that Farov, it is not a declaration of war to kill the leader of a sovereign nation in a military strike?
Well, what happened to Venezuela?
At this point, what is a declaration of war?
Jimmy, didn't you know it's only war if you specifically say, hey guys, we're doing war today?
We're doing a war today. If somebody,
as long as you call it something else.
If the United Kingdom sent their military to kill our president, would the United Kingdom have just declared war? Or only if they said, Spitspot, this is a war, governor?
Well, I mean, that would be a little bit different because America would have to answer, so that would be war.
America would have to answer, so that would be war. So it's not war because Iran doesn't have to answer? Because I live in Austin. I'm pretty sure last night we had somebody sympathetic to Iran responding. Sympathetic to the Ayatollah. But it's looking more and more like that attack in Austin last night was a terrorist attack.
Real quick. Let's say we attacked Iran, right? Now Iran has attacked back, and now we're going to attack them again, and they're going to attack back. And this is good. Trump has even said U.S. troops will die. He has said this verbatim, that U.S. troops will die. At what point does it become a war? No, not until you tell me at what point it becomes a war. At what point does it become a war?
That's the thing. As long as there are troops in Iran, which they're not, all of them are around it. Technically, as long as you don't have a troop inside the country, it's not a war. So
then why did we? I'm sorry. Then why did we? Excuse me. Why did Donald Trump form Space Force?
Wait, I'm sorry. Did he just say that as long as there are no troops? I'm sorry, I missed that. Did you say
if you're not in the country, if the troops aren't physically themselves in the country, not the weapons, the country, if the troops aren't physically in the country, it's Farov's opinion that it's not a war.
Yes.
Why did
there
Donald Trump?
U.S. service members in Iran. So what are we talking about here?
So Donald Trump. Wait, then America. I mean, then we didn't go to war with Afghanistan. We didn't go to war with Iraq because they were never in our country.
Cold War never happened,
yes,
Jimmy.
There was. In Afghanistan and Iraq, there were boots on the ground.
They were never here, though.
Same thing.
So how could we be at war with them? They were never here. I mean, there was nobody here. Maybe they were at war with us, but we weren't at war with them.
Can you define war for me?
So dumb.
What is a war?
Donald Trump literally invented the Space Force because he saw wars happening and thought wars were going to happen in space, not in the country.
War, in my opinion, means a conflict between two armies, not weapons. Armies inside one of the country's soil.
So if two countries just consistently bombed each other, that's not a war.
No, not bomb. It requires.
No. So I'm asking you, if two countries just kept bombing each other, is that a war?
No.
I think Farov knows he's lost, and now he's just saying whatever words he can, as though his opinion of what war is would matter more than the legal definition, and whether or not there were people. Obviously, somebody pulls the triggers, And when you're talking about the army, I don't know if you know this, most countries consider their leader the head of their military. So the Ayatollah would have been a military target. Like, this is just the dumbest apologetics of I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I know that my team did this attack and I'm for this attack. So even, Frav, let's just be so clear. If the Supreme Court tomorrow came out and said, Donald Trump, let's say they did 9-0. There's every conservative said that violated the Constitution. You would have still been for it, right? You'd be like, all right, just forgive him though, because it's this, I'm glad that
I'm not, well, yeah, because I'm not a conservative. I'm just someone who wants my country to be liberated, and I'm in the team
MAGA.
of whoever
So we've just wasted our time pretending that you actually care about the Constitution, which was my first question to you, because you just said, right, because I'm not a conservative, I just want my country liberated. So you don't actually care about the Constitution. You aren't committed to the Constitution, despite the fact that you say you're a citizen and you are. If Donald Trump unconstitutionally started a war with Iran, and that ends up being declared by the Supreme Court, you're still glad he did it anyway. You're glad he violated the Constitution.
With your definition, the war in Vietnam was also unconstitutional because the Congress didn't approve the attack of it.
Dang.
Here for just one last question.
Do you think I'm pro the war in Vietnam? Was that what you were under the impression of, Farav?
Do you call it? Do you call that unconstitutional as well?
The Vietnam War? I know there's a lot of reasons why I'm against it. Yeah, I don't think that's a hard stretch. My guess is, were I to do the evaluation, I probably would.
Farab, real quick, has there ever been Farab, real quick? I don't know if I don't know if I'd call it unconstitutional, but I would call it highly immoral. But Farab, let's just one question for you, just really quickly. Has there ever been a time in history where the U.S. has benevolently taken out a leader and let that country then run itself? Yes. Has that ever happened? And
you know
where?
Germany and Japan. After World War II.
You think? Okay, what happened to Germany after World War II, Farav?
It gets liberated. The Eastern Bloc was not liberated because the communists took it over, but the Western Bloc got liberated by the United States, and they have a democratic government to this day. Same thing with Japan.
He's saying liberated when you said taken over by. When was Germany ran by the American government?
Well, since 1946 until the end of Marshall Plan. Then they left, and then it became a democracy.
This is wild, and you don't see any, and you see no differences here. You see, like, yeah, it's all the same. My God, this guy.
Well, your question was, has it ever been successful? Yes, Japan and Germany.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't successful. That's not the question I asked. I said, have they ever done it benevolently? As in, they did it because their only stated goal was, we want to help the people of this area.
What was the goal if it was not the goal? They didn't want to help.
You don't know you don't know the reason we entered World War II? It wasn't to help people. Otherwise, stop. Hold on. Faraf. I wasn't finished.
Okay.
We didn't enter World War II to help anybody because we avoided the conflict for years.
Right.
The only reason we entered World War II is because we got pissed off at the Japanese. That's it. Like, full stop. We didn't offer any assistance for years until, oh my gosh, we got hit by Japan. Now we hit back. That's not benevolence.
Yeah. Nobody was there like, we're going to totally, like, we're doing this because we're good guys.
If the United States is so interested in helping end rights violations across the globe, why are we still buying cobalt from the Congo? Why have we not touched Sudan? Any reason for this? Why does it only seem to be we care about conflicts in the Middle East specifically, where we have a stated financial interest in those areas? Why would that be?
Well, maybe because Middle East is a priority. Maybe after that you go elsewhere. Also, another point. I want to ask.
When is after? Because we've been in the Middle East for over 20 years. When is the after?
Well, So, I mean, you need to take out the head of the snake, which was the Ayatollah.
And you think you think now that Ayatollah is gone, everything in Iran is just going to get better?
No, because there should be a full regime change. Answer my question. I have a question about, because you mentioned...
You think Donald Trump is going to install a regime change?
I mean, I hope so.
Which regime do you think he favors? Who do you think he's planning to empower?
Whoever he does, it's going to be better than a theocracy, because theocracy is the worst type of government. You should know that because, Jimmy, I believe you are an atheist, right?
No, wait. You don't get to just jump past that. It's going to be better than theocracy, and then and you should know that, as though I am saying there won't still be theocracy. Because the American tradition is, unless you have something we want, which may be that we just start taking your resources, we start running the Strait of Hormuz, we start taking from the people, but we leave vacuums. So I'm not convinced that it won't be theocracy after. Afghanistan is not exactly not looking like a theocracy right now, and it was Donald Trump's timeline that led to that.
Because Joe Biden pulled over out of Afghanistan.
And wait, Farav, when did he do that? On whose timeline did he do that?
2022, I believe. 2022.
Right, and who set the timeline? And who set the timeline of that pullout? Who committed America to pulling out?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Okay, good.
Who negotiated with the Taliban?
Farav, I'm glad you aren't sure, and so we can inform you. The 2022 timeline was set by Donald Trump in his negotiations with the Taliban. As Biden said many times, we would not pull out this way or this quickly, leaving so much uncertainty, but we are obliged by the law, by Donald Trump, to pull out by that date. And in fact, all of this time, the one thing the Republicans have never done while saying, wow, he really fucked that up, is said a single way they would have done it differently. Because unfortunately, with that date, he may have done it the best that could have been done, despite the fact it still sucked balls.
So Donald Trump kind of caused that happening?
Donald Trump set the timeline. He said, we're getting out.
His idea?
And he had no plan. To get out of Afghanistan? Farav, not his idea, his law. He negotiated with the Taliban and set the date. He is the reason we pulled out the day we did. And when the Biden administration took over, just like with many other things, I like to bring up the COVID vaccine distribution plan, they discovered he didn't even have a plan to build on. And much of his military apparatus, the people in charge, are the people who were in charge under Biden as well. So as far as tweaks to all that goes, the tweaks would have been minimal for what those people would have wanted under Trump versus Biden, because Trump didn't have his own plan for pulling out. And to call in this confidently about this is going to be a good thing and not know the basics of when a person who is geographically relevant, a country geographically relevant and much more comparable to your situation, that you think Donald Trump is the good hands, because frankly, all you want is the Ayatollah dead. 2 days ago, I also wanted the Ayatollah dead, but not by any means, and not with the wrong person breaking the Constitution and not prioritizing the actual will of the people. And this is why many people who are in Iran right now are happy the Ayatollah is dead and very fearful of what will come next, because the history of America and Israel running the region is never anything but Israel and America first, even when they're not in Israel and America.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, and you have some good points. I'm gonna admit that. Especially with the whole Trump Afghanistan thing, I'm not gonna pretend that I won that part. Yeah, you definitely had the upper hand over there. But my thing is, I'm not sure if you are aware of it, modern Iranian history, but before 1979 revolution, we had a pro-American puppet dictatorship regime, which was not good, but it was so better than what we have right now that some people want to go back over to that. And I don't like that, to be honest. I don't want Iran to be a puppet of the West. But honestly, if I have no choice other than that option or what we have right now, I mean, that's the obvious choice. I mean, if you were an Iranian and you had only two choices, whatever Israel and America brings to Iran and the Ayatollah, which one would you choose?
Should Donald Trump bypass the Constitution and assassinate Kim Jong-un tomorrow?
I mean, if it's calculated and it makes North Korea better, and if the war doesn't take longer than 60 days, then actually North Korea has nukes, so it's a little bit different story. But generally speaking, in order for it to be a war, as I said, there should be boots on the ground, and it should take longer than 60 days. We still don't know how long this will take. Trump has this. Trump's warfare usually lasts not as long as average war.
So, are the people of North Korea as deserving of liberation from Kim Jong-un as the people of Iran are?
Absolutely, and
okay.
I hope.
And so wait.
North
So
Korea
why isn't
liberated.
Donald Trump?
Do.
And why isn't Donald Trump working toward their liberation?
Because North Korea already has a nuclear weapon, and it's not possible to attack.
Sorry, that's not the correct answer. Because as we saw in his first term, he actually doesn't care about that. Because the nukes can't hit America. They don't have a delivery system to hit America with those nukes.
They could hit America's allies, South Korea.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about that. He does not care about that. The actual and correct answer is, if we liberated North Korea, Trump would go, okay, and what am I getting out of this? And he would go, are we not really? Did all we do is liberate them? And this is what should bug you, because you're acting like Donald Trump is doing anything altruistically, that any of this is out of the goodness of his heart. None of it is. He intends to get more out of this, as does Israel, than the Iranians get. Even if that means you guys end up in a worse place than before, see Afghanistan. And this is why you're just like blind loyalty to the guy, not worrying. As I said, many Iranians in Iran are right now worrying. The Ayatollah is dead. What happens now? Let's say the Ayatollah's men, because it wasn't the Ayatollah who was killing protesters. He was only ordering it. That apparatus still happens. They start killing more civilians. Well, then it'd be like, and Donald Trump does nothing about it because he doesn't need to, because he gets what he needs out of it, whether that is more control of the strait or whatever else he's going after. At that point, are you going to say, actually, it turns out that if all he was planning to do was kill the Ayatollah and then say fuck off and take a shit because he can't take care of his own shits anymore, will you then go like, I do condemn that what he did, that the action was short-sighted?
If that happens, I actually mean it. If that happens,
so like, Trump so then you do condemn what happened in Venezuela, right?
I would, yes, but I want to say, if one day I see, and I actually mean it because I really care about my people, if Trump harms Iranian more than Ayatollah is harming Iranian, if it becomes the bigger of the two evil, I actually will burn my MAGA hat.
But you're adding things. You're moving the goalpost.
Hold on. But Rav, how many school bombings will that be then? Like, how many if like right now we're at one school, is two schools? Will that be the point where you go, no, we need to stop? 3 schools. How many schools is enough?
After the 2022 protests in Iran, I remember because my sister was.
That's not what homie.
I'm going to say that almost all the schools in that country.
This is a close-ended question. All you have to give me is a number. How many school bombings will be enough for you to say, no, this is not the way to do this? How many?
If there was even one more school than the ones that Ayatollah gassed in 2022. Yes.
Oh, you can even out the scoreboard and it's okay?
Okay, so as long as the Donald Trump administration doesn't kill as many school children as Ayatollah did when they gassed them.
Right. So it's like a credit system. Every time the Ayatollah killed a school, Donald Trump gets to kill one school too. Is there a punch card that he keeps in his wallet? He just knocks one off. He's like, did another one today, and
so bad
if I do 2 more, I get a free sandwich. Yeah, no shit, because it's disgusting what you're saying. Hey, let me give you the more realistic thing that would happen. What if Donald Trump doesn't bomb any more hospitals? He just doesn't do anything. What if Donald Trump doesn't empower a regime change? What if he just lets whoever is ready to take over for the Ayatollah? What if all he wants is the score point on the board where, like Obama, because this is what I think he does, he thinks about Obama running toward that stand and saying, today we killed Osama bin Laden. Eat my dick, future Donald. And that's how I think he hears it. Let's say that that's all. All he wants is on the scoreboard, I killed the Ayatollah, and
hey,
he
Jimmy,
doesn't
really
help.
quickly.
Then
hey,
will
Jimmy,
you
really
condemn
quickly.
it? Yeah.
Really quick. I just did some research. It looks like the confirmed number of minors who were harmed by the poisoning incident, which even international reporting hasn't linked to intentional poisoning, but whatever, was 68. There were 168 deaths from minors in that incident.
Oh,
there were 150 in the school bombing a day ago. So you condemn Donald Trump. You condemn these actions and you do not support his intervention in Iran. Thank you, Farav.
He said it was based on number of schools. So even though the number was larger,
so it's not about the number of deaths. It's about the number of schools.
The punch card is for the school.
But like in the last protest, Ayatollah killed 12,000 people.
And so Donald Trump gets to kill 12,000.
Whoa. That Farav, what you told me, Farav, what you told me, and maybe I misheard. Jimmy might be right. You might have said the number of schools, but are you saying that if Donald Trump, you said comparing these two incidents, Donald Trump and Israel killed more children than the Ayatollah did? These were the incidents you compared. You said if it was more than this. So do you still support Donald Trump and Israel?
I mean, okay. First of all, the way you guys are putting it, it's kind of like it sounds.
Whoa! Stop! There's no way we pulled it. I said, and I asked you, how many is too much, and you said the minute it gets higher than this incident. So don't be upset that we're holding you to the standard you set. Don't be upset about that. I'm holding you to the standard you gave. You could have said anything else. You could have said if it hits 7,000, if it hits 8,000. You said the minute it's more than this event, and it is. So are you going to own up and change your mind like you said you would, or are you going to double down and now move the goalpost to somewhere new?
I just want to make sure you guys think that Trump is the bigger of the two evil.
That's what I thought. You were going to just run from the question. Got it. Jimmy, it's all you. I don't need to talk to somebody who runs this hard. This ain't Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it's so much bigger than Trump as you try to make it when it's convenient to you, and then when it's not convenient to you, it suddenly is. So you just think that Trump is the bigger of two evils. As I've already said, I'm glad the Ayatollah is dead. The potential for better than the Ayatollah is a nice thing, especially it happening during a period of protest. However, there is no guarantee, and it is in fact the case that the reckless way in which Donald Trump is engaging militarily could actually backfire and make it harder for the civilians. Because now, in response to whether Farav agrees, what is a declaration of war, killing the leader of another country, that state has all the precedent they need to justify becoming essentially a military state. Now it's ran by the military. We're actively at war. And we're going to start consigning people, all that sort of shit. And you're sitting here and going like, yeah, but the Ayatollah's dead. So the danger is gone. It's all over. It's just, there's not really much. So just make your final point, and I think we move on. Not that I'm that excited about, the one MAGA caller that we had just dropped. The other person is going to be, I assure you, a very short call, because I find that position so dumb. MAGA 336-543-2101. As you've seen, even with people we find so wrong that we find it offensive and dumb, we are letting people say their shit. If you would like to make your case and have it examined by the facts, have it challenged by a couple of leftist atheist skeptics, if you'd like to defend that God exists, you can call that number 336-543-2101. Farav, your final points.
My final point is, I just hope one day world gets rid of radical Islamist terrorism, and I cannot think of anything else.
Excellent. All right.
That was so brave of you.
Bye, Philippe.
Philippe.
Or Farah. The next guy is Philippe.
Yeah.
Isn't Philippe, I feel like calling from another country with he, they pronouns is very often just somebody trying to yell slurs, but we'll find out. Allegedly, Philippe in Brazil calling in. What's up, Philippe?
Hey there, guys. Sorry for the impression it passes, but no, I'm not going to yell out a slur.
Okay, so Philippe, I'm just going to ask you this, because you're basically calling in to say that North Korea is not a dictatorship. All of that is from wartime propaganda. However, we have way more information than wartime propaganda. The main one being the stories of the people who have escaped, the stories from the victims, and then on top of that, humanitarian groups who go in and deliver aid and the experiences they have, and just how much of an absolute everything is ran for you propaganda state it is itself. So Philippe, any of that information that comes, because I've found that the people who are trying to do the like pretend they're on the left and North Korea's fine shit, generally it just goes with like anything I say, like, okay, but we have this information, they're just going to go, yeah, but that's just propaganda. And I already debate with theists who basically will just go like, yeah, but that's just magic. So that's the magic did it. That's just from the magic. I'm not looking to do that today. So is that basically your whole thing? Is anything that we have to tell you about North Korea, which North Korea is one of my side obsessions, my side autistic obsessions. All of it's going to be like, yeah, sure. All those victims wrote those books, did those interviews, talked to those intelligence agencies from foreign countries who don't have as vested of an interest in bastardizing them. But all of those countries are, in fact, all of those victims, they're actually like, they're just propaganda people.
Sorry, can I? No, actually, that's. I know that going through that route wouldn't be very productive, and I don't really think it would be true.
So, what is your best evidence that North Korea is a democracy? Because you're claiming it's not. At very least, you're claiming it's not a dictatorship, and that's only from propaganda, despite the fact that we literally have an empire of family members who, when they're dying, don't even lose their leadership position and are basically worshipped after as ghosts.
Going to the evidence, I would go to, in Brazil, we have a relatively good standing with North Korea, to the point where people here can actually come and go there relatively easily. They don't really have, and I'm sorry if I make any English mistakes, I'm trying not to do it.
And are you aware that tourist spots in North Korea are highly controlled? So even whatever you're going to say about tourism is going to be not better anecdotes than the victims of the North Korean regime, but you're going to say that like, no, there are a few Brazilians who have gotten to go on tourist missions, and they've come back and said it's not so bad.
Researchers that go there too, and I know it's. And I know to that point, it's going to be highly controlled to a certain extent, and it's going to be there. It's going to be to the point where you're going to see basically not everything that you can, but what you're allowed to. But we do need to understand, and that's the reason why I came in to do this today. We need the point that I make is that we need to understand that the way that I see at least socialism and struggling towards socialism is that we need to understand that we can't throw every single baby out with the bathwater.
I'm not interested. I'm 0% interested in these like generalisms that go on shirts and shit. Do you believe that Brazil is a democracy? Yes or no?
Bourgeoisie democracy.
Sorry. Yeah. North Korea. Do you believe that North Korea is a democracy? Yes or no?
A popular democracy, yes.
And what is your evidence for that?
Is not the most powerful person in the land.
And what is your evidence that it is a democracy that is more powerful than, again, the humanitarian groups? By the way, you mentioned researchers. Researchers Because right now, when researchers do go in there, they often come along as part of humanitarian missions, like that famous documentary not too long ago with the guy who went and did cataract surgery for like 10,000. I might be inflating the numbers. A lot of people, because they can't get that kind of healthcare there. Those end up usually being joint humanitarian and research missions. So what is it you reckon is the evidence you have that North Korea is in fact secretly a democratic country? And when we, for example, intercept their propaganda networks, the kind of shit they're saying is like what? Just for fun?
No, because the way that the popular democracy in North Korea works is kind of similar to how the popular democracy in the Soviet Union worked, in the sense that the party is at the top of the control, but there are local instances where people are going to choose their representatives amongst the workers, mostly.
And where's your evidence of this?
Like I told you, there's a very good, there are some very good organizations. We have the KFA here in Brazil, I think KFA, the KFA here in Brazil. There's a very good Brazilian researcher called Lucas Rubio. He's a journalist, and he's done a ton of search on that. And I'm not trying to just go through the argument of authority, just trying to make it so that we do have inklings of what could be, that's terrible to say. Sorry, I'm also on the spectrum. We do have there something that shows us similar signs to how socialism worked in the USSR and the structures of how it worked in the USSR.
What is the name of this researcher? Because I already looked up the KSA and found no evidence of research.
It's a Brazilian guy. I don't know how well it would work. He is a journalist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm moving on from this call, even though there's not another call. Felipe, you're going to want to call back when you have more of, there's a guy, don't really remember his name, don't know where the research is, but here are the anecdotes that are better than all of that stuff. But I'm not going to give time to the people who are like, because I like the rehabilitation of the USSR and looking at the nuanced version of that, which deserves nuance. I therefore then assume that that same sort of thing is why North Korea is getting bastardized. It's just, it's silly.
Very nice talking to you guys. I'm sorry if it wasn't the best call ever, but I do appreciate.
Well, you didn't bring any evidence with you, so there's that.
Okay?
Yeah, there's whole sections of Reddit that will agree with you with the same lack of actual evidence that North Korea is this secret democracy. We actually didn't even have another call to take. That's how little I wanted to have that argument. 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. We had like 2 or 3 callers. What happened to them, Luthien? We had 2 or 3 callers that were lined up, and they seem to have all dropped in pretty rapid succession.
I'm not sure. They just dropped.
Yeah, they just bailed. They got too scared. Okay, you think he said KFA. And literally, like, if that's a Korean alliance, Korean Friendship Association, of course they're going to speak positively, but we're talking about a research. KFA promotes North Korean state propaganda and claims the DPRK is a people's democracy, but this advocacy not accepted by serious researchers or institutions. So it is funny too, because like it is demonstrable that North Korea, even if you think that they are like secretly democratic, they are definitely propaganda machines. We can watch their videos. We can. It's not tough. And so basically, when calling in to basically try and go like, because America sucks, and it does. Therefore, America's position on it must also be wrong on North Korea and Korea secretly. It's just this, as he said, he's throwing the baby out with the bathwater as he was trying to use generic. I just hate that sort of dumb generic sort of like slogan-based debate. Let's slogan up our debate. Though, how MAGA is your dad is a pretty good slogan. It's not really a slogan, it's a question. Can a question be a slogan? I guess if it represents an answer. I'm trying to think of like what technically makes a slogan. Maybe I'll call Farov, see what his opinion is, considering how good it was on what technically makes a war. using a military action to kill the leader of a nation is apparently not, though. That one's not. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. I'm also not fond of, there's a lot of people. So someone in the chat had said, North Korea is not a secret democracy thriving in egalitarian progressivism. There's a similar attempt to rehabilitate a lot of Middle Eastern countries' image and be like, actually, you know, these places are super progressive and they are great places for queer people and women to live and shit like that. While not denying that America pretends we're a lot better place to live for women and queer people than we are. Theocratic countries, whether they be Muslim or Christian, tend to suck. And so I'm not fond of those conversations because at a certain point, I feel like you're debating with a person who, it just reminds me of me at my most Mormon, knowing that I can't actually debate on their level of knowledge, but I can debate on their level of confidence, and that being confident in a proposition is just as good. And I feel like that's where you end up in a lot of those. And unfortunately for the people who are watching, confidence often matters more in debate than the actual facts. As we've seen in any debate that Donald Trump is claimed to have won, since Donald Trump has never had a debate where he did anything but lie with almost every single statement. Like, it is his whole thing. But, you know, he does it quippier and more confidently. And with that face, somehow, I'll never understand how Donald Trump became president, just with the face he has. Anyway, MAGA, if you want to call and tell us why his face might look like that, but there are great reasons to support Donald Trump as president, to hope that he continues to be president, to hope he doesn't get impeached. Because I'll tell you this, I think Donald Trump has already done enough to be impeached and removed. And I actually hope that come closer to the general election, that becomes a louder call, that people actually run on, fuck this guy, it's time to get him out of office. So if you'd like to call and explain to me why I'm wrong, that Donald Trump has not done enough. And I'm not talking about his first term. I'm saying this term, he has done enough to be impeached. And if you disagree, well, it is easy to, what did that fucking douchebag who's in Congress now, when he made his old like police porn back when he was a sheriff, I'm easy to find. Do you guys remember that guy from Louisiana when he'd go out and make, he'd like challenge like gangbangers to come find him. I'm easy to find. Anyway, I'm easy to find. 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. And I want to talk to you and hear why you think I'm wrong. Though if it's about North Korea, I probably still won't care about that. I'll care about North Korea. I won't care about your North Korea is actually fine. It's a good place. The people there, it just gets a bad rap. It's very, very silly stuff. Rationality Rules has done at least a couple of reviews of debates where confidence won over logic. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if it is most often the case, but the reason why it doesn't seem like it, why it maybe seems like it isn't most often the case, is that the confidence you get from being on the correct side might rizz you up enough that usually being correct and having any ability to debate ends up being like a pretty killer combo. That would be a thing I am suspicious of and would love to, I wonder if there'd be like a nice way to test that somehow. But unfortunately, it often is the case. Yeah. Yeah. And kind of about nothing. Nobody's calling. I think MAGA knows they're defeated.
I mean, how do they defend blowing up a school at this point?
Right. How do you defend what just happened in Iran? Even if you're going like, I like the dead Ayatollah, because I like the dead Ayatollah, and yet I don't like Donald Trump violating the Constitution, declaring war, but he's allowed to declare there's a war punch card too. And for every war that somebody else declares, he's allowed one. Ooh, I just got a free sandwich. All I have to do, it says, go to Subway. Once you do your 5th war, go to Subway and ask for Jared for a free Subway sandwich. Well, I know that guy. We go way back.
By the way, I just found it for $90. Somebody makes modded LED marquees for the Ninja Turtle one I got.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's sick.
Of course, I'm a DIY queen, but it is what it is.
Yes.
What would you like to talk to people about? Did you put your menu up on yours? We had 2 or 3 during that call that were waiting, and they all bailed.
Yeah, we gotta start. We gotta start. If we have calls like that, I think we need to start like being like, okay, let's check out and go to this other one that looks a bit more interesting.
Sure, but we only did 7 minutes with Philippe, and that's when we lost the 2-3 calls. I remember there was Zeke.
I have nothing for Philippe. I don't debate North Korea. I don't know enough about the place to have an opinion.
It's just one of those. The people that you hate represent the left on Reddit are the North Korea is actually a secret democracy and a hub of tremendous egalitarianism.
Makes sense.
Yeah. They're the ones who actually think like it's safe to walk naked I saw it literally earlier this year. Actually, in Iran, it is safe for a woman to walk around naked even. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's those.
Oh, someone makes also slipovers that get rid of the Nickelodeon logo.
Well, why would you want to get rid of? Oh, because of the revelations?
Well, no, just that Nickelodeon isn't the ones who made the original game. They just own the Ninja Turtles now, so their branding's all over this. Even they didn't make Turtles in time.
Oh, okay. I thought it might have been about that other stuff.
All the Dan Schneider stuff?
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? No, that's as good a reason as any to get rid of them. 336-543-2101. Hey, fam, send me your dads. Send me your MAGA dads.
Oh, God. I want to debate a dad so bad.
So bad. None of your MAGA dads can take me. I've exhausted all your MAGA dads. What's going on, guys?
I know Chad and Haley from Necessary Conversations because they were on my podcast. I could always ask them if we could debate Bob.
Oh, my God. I didn't know that was an option. I would fucking love to debate Bob.
He'd always text and be like, hey, is your dad open to more debates? Because he just debated Parker and Hassan, so it'd be fun if we.
I would love that, dude.
Whatever happened to that kid that you were talking to me about debating? Whatever happened to
that? He's looking for a friend, I think. Hang on, let me go look it up. Yeah, Euro and what is it called? Euro and Travel tried to do like a call out post about debating, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And now I think he's looking for a friend. So after some silly things that happened, first he messaged me from a brand new Instagram account. So first I was like, are you just somebody who saw the post and are now like trying to see what kind of trolly shit you could do? But anyway, and I was like, yeah, I don't care. You can come on. We'll put your face on screen. And then he was, I was like, the more interesting thing for me, and part of this is also because it equips me with the ability to, like, if my health is acting up or whatever, it covers me. But I was like, more interesting to me, since we always do our shit the way we do it, would be like, you can come on and Jovan and I, we won't take you at the same time. We won't dogpile you. We won't tag team you or whatever. Well, tag team, I guess, maybe kind of, but we won't dogpile you. You'll just alternate. So you can do like 20 minutes with me, 20 minutes with Jovan, 20 minutes with me, something like that. Just an alternating thing. Anyway, he said, he still thought that was a 2-on-1. So he says he wants to bring a friend. And so I said, or he said it, his own guess. And so I basically was like, sure, but we still have to approve him. We're not going to let you pick like, I don't know, some Nick Fuentes slur screaming Groiper douchebag. And so then it went quiet, and yesterday or Friday I messaged and asked if he was still looking for a friend, and he just said yes. And so I haven't responded. Maybe he took that the other way. Maybe he was excited that I was going to hear out his, who knows what's going on in his life. Thank you for being a friend.
I think I see his posts when I'm like scrolling through YouTube shorts.
Yeah, YouTube loves to give him to me, which is funny because he thought I wouldn't know the analytics thing. So he tried to like kind of suggest that he was the get at one point, because he did this call post. I was like, yeah, I don't care. I'll debate you if you want to come on. Like, you want to come on and debate, you can come on or whatever. But I can't remember what I said. There was something where I was like, doing it this way wouldn't make any sense for me. But anyway, he was like, put some respect on my name, man. Or he's like, show me some respect. You only get 1.5 million views a month. I get 4 to 6 million views a month. To which I responded like, and how's the watch time? And I never got an answer about what the watch time is, because it seems like he streams 8 hours, like 5 or 6 times a day. And so he's getting a view from all the people scrolling past him. Whereas ours, we get some boost of that on these live shows, but our views are also largely the clips we post and stuff. So what matters, and YouTube doesn't care about views. YouTube doesn't even care about subscriber number. YouTube only cares about watch time. And so that's if you're going to come at me, like, okay, but that's the only analytic that actually matters, like, to be clear. Anyway, that was just a funny little thing that happened. We've got somebody screening. How are things looking on your side? How's your chat?
Chat is going. There's a lot of cowards in the chat that have been talking shit all stream, but none of them called in.
MAGA, why don't you literally, like, you've seen the show? You're gonna get to say your shit. I've been so much more chill lately because I realized I can be. I don't need to be so mad all the time. It's okay. No, I mean, it isn't. The world isn't okay, but I can chill the fuck out and hear you guys out longer than before. It's not easy, but I'm pulling it off, I think. I think that's what everybody's saying is Jimmy's really the peak of online phone debate. Doesn't really get any better than this. That's what I've been hearing. People are saying that. People are saying, sir, this is as good as it gets. It is the best we've ever seen it done. Oh, man. What a life. Funny old life. By the way, I finally watched Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Very good. That show?
I've watched Landman. Landman bangs.
I heard that Billy Ray Cyrus once again gets boobs in his face. No, not Billy Ray Cyrus. Wait, is that his name? Not Billy Ray Cyrus. Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton, yeah.
Gets boobs in his face again, and that people are starting to suspect that that's a contractual thing. That, like, just really hot actresses, for him to do a movie, he's like, well, which actress are you going to have put their boobs in my face? I've heard that might be a thing happening. Okay, here we go. I think I took the last one too much, so I'll let you have Alan. Alan in Georgia is a Republican calling in, pronouns he, him. Alan, how old are you?
Hey, I'm 22.
22 years old. Who did you vote for in 2024? Trump or Harris?
Well, the main man, Donald Trump himself.
Your main man, Donald Trump himself. Let's see. What other things do I usually ask around here? I don't remember. How would you grade him? Scale of 1 to 10. His presidency so far.
Goodness, it's maybe been like a 6 or 7. There's some areas I agree with. Some areas he could definitely do better in, for sure.
What would you give him? Are there any you'd give him a 10 on?
So the foreign policy is close to a 10. He's been viewing a lot of American objectives abroad more. Really, I mean, foreign policy. Maybe a 9. Maybe a 9.
Okay.
Actually, no, border security, I'd give him a 10 on, honestly. But
border security, a 10. What about the tariffs? His economic policies.
I think they could be a little more targeted. The first round, he uses them as a negotiation strategy for a lot of things.
Well, it's hard to say that now since he's doing them unilaterally again. But 1 to 10, the tariff, or we'll just call it his foreign economic policy, his trade policies. You're giving that a what?
Yeah, it's honestly maybe a 5. Some of the stuff kind of had to happen, like the China tariffs. I mean, if we didn't tariff China and then they definitely could have been handled a lot better. I mean, the Pam Bondi situation, I give it about a 3, maybe 4.
All right, I'm gonna give you over to Jovan. Jovan,
what are you giving mass deportations? Like the deportation specifically, what do you give that?
The mass deport, the way he's handling them is actually fairly smart. He's giving the incentives for the CBP One app to actually have people self-deport for much cheaper than it would be to actually deport them manually. I do think a few of the facilities could be built a little bit better. I mean, Allocator Alcatraz doesn't look like a 5-star hotel, but then again, the people who are choosing not to self-deport are wasting our tax dollars and not following the United States law.
Out of 10, what are you giving it out of 10?
Kind of hard to rate it. Maybe a 6 or 7. He could definitely be handling things less aggressively in Minnesota.
Okay, what do you? And this is just so I know. I want to know how like good faith you are. If he's getting a 6 or 7, what would you rate Biden's deportation policies?
I'm going to be honest. I mean, a lot of his deportations were due to Trump's policy on remain in Mexico in the COVID era.
That's not true. Okay. Can you just rate it, please?
When you look at the actual, he turned a lot of people away at the borders. I mean, those
I'm
are
talking about.
When you look at the graph,
that's not. Hold on. I'm talking deportation, right? Not turnaways.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't examined his actual deportation policy very thoroughly.
Okay.
I mean, the bigger flaw in his administration with the border was
from what you know right now, what would you rate it? From what you know right now, what would you what would you rate it?
I honestly couldn't rate Biden's deportation policies, a specific deportation.
I mean, couldn't. Do you think he would rate higher or lower than Trump?
Probably lower. I mean, he's...
Okay, let's analyze Biden's last year in office and we'll analyze Trump's first year in office, right? Do you know how much Biden allocated for deportations in 2024?
We're talking about monetary funds or like...
Yep. How much money was allocated towards... How much money was allocated towards ICE for enforcement and removals?
I don't know the specific number.
Okay, it was 4.5 billion.
Okay.
All right. Donald Trump, do you know how much he allocated in 2025?
No.
Okay. So Donald Trump allocated within his next 4 years, $170 billion total. That's about 37.5 billion. That would go toward. Now he's hoping it will go further than that, but like we can average it out, right? 37.5 billion. Now he probably didn't spend that much. It's looking more likely that he spent around 10 billion for deportations in 2025. So I don't know where half that money is going to end up going, but there was a lot of upscale and militarization, upscale in that. So Biden spent less than Trump in 2024 for deportations. Trump spent more in 2025 for deportations. How many people did Biden deport in 2024?
Can you give me do you know what source you're using for your deportation? I like to look at it while we're talking right now. Is that all right?
Deportation numbers come directly from the Department of Homeland Security. So I'm using their direct numbers.
Let me look this up. Sorry, I thought I was trying to call in about Iran more specifically. I didn't expect.
Sure. We'll get there. We'll get there in 1 second. We'll get there in 1 second. This is kind of just to test whether you're able to engage in like good faith conversations.
All right.
So my numbers all come directly from Department of Homeland Security. So under Donald Trump, we deported 600,000 people. Biden's deportations are 685,000. So Biden deported more in 2024 than Trump deported in 2024. I'm sorry. No, that's...
Is that including the self... It's not including self-deportation,
it counts all deportations.
Right.
I actually think the numbers would include that because you can't say the self-deportations are going to include then if they're being paid, like you're saying was the incentive, they're going to mark that as a successful deportation because they have to write the check. So that number would be included, unless you're trying to just say broadly like people who just decided to because the vibe was bad.
From what I know, DHS doesn't count self-deportations in those numbers. I don't know 100%.
Even if they're paying out the checks?
I'd have to go in.
I'm not sure whatever think tank you're getting these numbers
from. This isn't a think tank. This is Department of Homeland Security. That's not a think tank. That's Trump's own Department of Homeland Security. These are the numbers they quoted for 2025. So I want to touch this real quick. Trump, you rated 6.7 on deportations. Biden deported more people for less money. And I think we can both agree there weren't as many civil rights violations happening under Biden's administration when it came to deportations. So what would you rate Biden now on deportations, knowing the facts?
I guess specifically, I'd have to rate him about the same, honestly.
The same, even though he's deported more people for less money.
One or two numbers better, probably.
Interesting. You can get into Iran now, Jimmy.
No. I was going to let you have Alan. Alan, what point did you want to make about Iran?
Iran, what did I say?
Well, pretty much everyone is treating this, number one, like this is going to be another forever war like Iraq or Afghanistan. We're 2 days into it. I think it's a little bit premature for that. Number two, we actually have...
Do you want to hear what our position is right now so that
sure. I'd love
you don't
to
have to
that.
engage other people?
I'd love to hear that, sure.
Cool. It was unconstitutional what he did. We don't have any good reason to have confidence because of what happened with Venezuela, that he has a plan for the next day. They are spending our tax money to go to war on behalf of Israel. And what he did absolutely is killing the leader of a country is a military target. It is absolutely a declaration of war. And so none of us are sad the Ayatollah is dead. Fuck that guy. I hope the end was painful. I don't lament his death. I lament the war that he has started by passing Congress and getting a seemingly an unlimited amount of our money to do what Israel wants.
It's much bigger than just Israel being the target. Again, Iran has attacked like several different countries. I mean, just in this last wave, they attacked the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Israel, obviously. And earlier,
if that's true, who decides whether we go to war with them?
We do.
No, who specifically is supposed to declare war?
The Congress is supposed to declare war.
Right.
The last time that happened was World War II. Every other war hasn't had a formal declaration of war.
And don't you think that's a bad thing? And don't you think Donald Trump specifically has abused these non-expectations of us using the constitutional method?
Well, we have the War Powers Act, and quite frankly, I care slightly less about a 60-year-old precedent for executive power than I do about the actual moral worth of invading this, and if this is actually worth our time.
I just want to point out, just because none of the wars we've been in, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, Gulf War in Afghanistan, had formal declarations of war. They were all authorized by Congress.
And I'm sure Trump is going to go before Congress in 2 months when he's required to present the case for the war.
Why?
Again, we're in day 2.
Why are you sure of that?
Well, he runs up against the limit every time, but the Supreme Court or someone forces him to actually follow the law. He's been following what they go up to, okay?
He hasn't. We just, like, you're acting like he has a tendency of, like, getting put in check by the Supreme Court, and then he goes, okay, I'm going to do it by the book now. Literally, what happened literally this month with the tariffs? They said your tariffs are illegal. He goes, yeah, all right, well, I'm still going to do the tariffs. I'm just going to do them. I'm going to say I'm doing them a different way now.
Yeah,
and when it comes to something that taking out the leader of another country and that much money, the fact that he can spend that much, and you're saying like, yeah, he'll only be able to do as much damage as he can do in 2 months. And then this one man and the way he feels that day could put us in a situation where Congress has no choice but to put us in, for example, like you said, a forever war. Is not something I feel confident in.
Additional money for this. Now, obviously, it costs us money. It costs us stock that we already have.
Yeah, how many missiles did they launch?
I'm going to say one crap load. I don't know the specific amount, but
and how much do you think a crap load of missiles costs?
A crap load squared.
It's billions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he is spending money because we got to buy in the replacements for those missiles. Donald Trump's not going to donate them, even though he's making billions of dollars off of the presidency.
I'm gonna leave that for a sec, but
I mean that's public information. I assume you know how much he's made off of his meme coin.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
No, it isn't funny. Wait. You find his meme coin scheme funny where he took... Right, but he took money from his supporters, not me. He took money from his supporters to build up the foundation, had foreign entities pump it in exchange for favors. He sells out his shares. That causes his supporters to sell theirs at a loss. Then they go after them again and get them to buy back in, creating another foundation. He buys back in low. He's literally doing a pump and dump using the money of poor people and of MAGA people, having foreign entities pump it, and then he's dumping. That's not funny. That's fucking exploitive as shit and a clear violation of the emoluments clause.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, that definitely should be looked into. That is scummy behavior. I'll give you that.
Super illegal. Who's going to look into it?
Yeah.
Do you think that a president that increases his net worth by $7.3 billion, I'm sorry, to $7.3 billion from $3.9 billion, do you think a president that increases his net worth that much is in it for benevolent reasons, or do you think he's in it to make himself money?
You mean like Obama, Mr. Clinton?
How much did Obama increase his net worth? How much did Obama increase his net worth?
Let me just look this up. Let me look up Obama's net worth right now.
I know it. I know the answer. I know the answer.
I love when people make this point. I love when they go, you mean how other presidents made money and it's literally like nowhere near. It's like the difference between saying someone did something bad for a couple of days and someone did something bad for several decades in a row. Is the dollar amount different?
When Obama went into office, his net worth was 1.3 million. When he left, it was 12.2 million. So that's an increase of what? $11 million?
12x. Yeah, 12x.
I don't care about the times, right? I'm looking at the amount of money that it increased. Trump's wealth went up $3 billion. How many? So Barack Obama increased his net worth by $11 million in the span of 8 years. How many 8-year periods would he need to do to reach $3.4 billion?
Well, he's got a net worth of $70 million right now, and possibly 100.
Hold on. When he left office, we're talking about the amount he increased his net worth while he was in the office of the president. Not whatever he made after he's not president anymore.
Because he's a private citizen
now. I don't give a shit what he does now.
Well,
he charges like $600K for appearance fees. Like, obviously, he's going to be more wealthy now. But in the office of president, do you think somebody sitting in the office of president should be able to increase their net worth by $3 billion?
This is, sorry, you're talking about Trump increasing $3 billion just this first term over the first year.
Just this
first money the first term.
No.
How much?
That's another not true. He doubled. No. So not even joking. What was your name? Alan. He doubled his net worth his first term, and then this second term, he doubled his net worth in just the first year. You are 100% incorrect. The old pump and dump scheme was empty hotel bookings at his very fancy hotel in DC and other similar things. Donald Trump's net worth has never gone down once. And even the things that he does now where he's like, I'm donating my $400,000 a year salary. He's donating to things that directly benefit him. For example, that like parks department that he's giving it to, that money is going toward his stupid 250-year Hunger Games celebration that he's doing. So like, even when it comes to quote unquote donating his salary, he figures out a way it serves him. I kind of like calls like this. There's the potential in real time of a person's going to realize they've been scammed.
You don't really need to worry about your salary when your net worth is increasing by $3 billion in a year.
Yeah.
Your meager, what is it? 250K is the set presidential salary?
Yeah. By the way, the 14, what was it? $14 million Obama made in office? 14 million, was that the number?
Yeah, we'll say that.
Right. And $15.6 million was the profits from the book that he released in 2005, between 2005 and 2016. So literally that $14 million is mostly book sales.
Yeah, and I guess whatever Netflix played him to do that documentary, which...
No, that's after. That's after. Donald Trump got paid through Melania for a documentary about the first 20 days that basically as a bribe from Amazon. You're mixing up your presidential corruption. It happens to the best of us.
So repeat that thing with a bribe from Amazon.
Yes, Amazon bribed Donald Trump with a, what was it, like $40 million deal to do a Melania documentary documenting the first 20 days leading up, basically January 1st to 20th of Melania's life. It's that documentary that they've been pretending is super successful, even though many screenings have zero people show up.
Documentary of the decade so far.
Are you joking? Are you joking? Is this a joke, or is it the actual point you're making? Right. And now, how many people actually showed up? How many individuals decided to buy tickets? Not how many tickets were sold. How many individuals actually decided to buy those tickets? You do know that they have sold. Have you not seen the sold out theaters with zero people in them, or the people who do decide to go and they are like,
don't hang on Blue Sky all day.
It says that it's 75. I don't even have. I do have Blue Sky. I think I post there once a month. It says it's 75% full, and weirdly, it's always, if you go to every showing, the exact same seats in these stripes are booked all the way. When you say most successful documentary of whatever time period you said, it's kind of like it's very funny, like when people just kind of give away how much they're being scammed.
It's like 16.3 million in box office. So if you paid 40 million for that, then that is a loss. Which, I don't know what they were thinking exactly doing about a documentary for $40 million, but you know.
Oh, I know what they were thinking. Hey, he's threatening tariffs directed at companies and a lot of other excessive oversight and regulation and shit toward anybody he doesn't like. And I can give him a mere $40 million, and that's pennies in the bucket compared to what I will get for having bribed this man. It's the same reason why fucking Tim Cook showed up with a literally solid gold trophy he made for Donald Trump. Donald Trump loves the optics of that shit and looking like people are coming to kiss the ring. They are able to do
zero. No, compared to the actual worth of that like investment they were making, that is literally like nothing. And also we've kind of gotten on a whole tangent on this corruption thing with Trump. I mean, we haven't actually talked.
Oh, sure, we'll bring it back. Do you think that the president that consistently does things just to benefit his pocketbook is going into Iran benevolently?
We have like, I don't know the specific numbers. Okay. Last I heard it was like 30,000 people dying by the last round of protests to the Iran against the Ayatollahs. Okay. Which was by all evidence right now an organic protest. It wasn't induced by Israel. Okay. And then Trump says, go out there, keep protesting.
Right. We're still talking about his justification for taking America into a war. Earlier, you were saying he has emergency powers. By the way, I forgot to ask back then, what immediate threat was he responding to? Because they've been saying they're days away from a nuclear bomb. But then last year, he said they sent them decades back from a nuclear bomb when they bombed those facilities. So it's kind of a which is it situation.
I'm adjacent to nuclear engineering. I'm not a nuclear engineer specifically. But I mean, if fissile material survives and you have like enough enrichment, like these things, like they take years up until the point where they can take days. So I don't know. I don't know if it's bullshit. I don't know whatever.
A year ago, he said he knocked them back decades. And now they're saying they were days away from a nuke, even though Congress, and this is why Congress is calling him out about it, has no evidence that that is true.
Yeah, I don't. Look, honestly, the Iranian people have been a thorn in our side since like literally the 80s or the 70s. I can't remember when the revolution was, but
when they took the Iranian people, hostages. I think you must mean the government.
Yes, the government of Iran, exactly. I mean, I have a very good friend.
But thorn in your side is not an emergency power declaration. That would be a go to Congress if you think you have a justification for the war. So again, we're just talking about, you're a conservative. I assume you like the Constitution. We're just talking about maintaining constitutionality.
I like the Constitution, yes.
Okay, great. He is bypassing the Congress. That requires an emergency reason. I've had bad vibes from these guys for years. In fact, Donald Trump himself was saying that when people are going to, if Obama's going to go to a war for Iran, not because we need to, but because he wants the polling numbers. So that's his assessment of why a president goes to war with Iran.
Yeah.
Seems a touch self-fulfilling. We also know from leaks from his first time around that he was trying. Go ahead.
Sorry. We built up a bunch of good, not goodwill, but intimidation. We built up intimidation with the way we were just able to go into Venezuela, take out Maduro, and bring him back to New York for trial. Okay, so the U.S. actually has military capital. China's thinking twice about whether or not they actually want to invade Taiwan now.
Hey, real quick, real quick. Alan, Maduro was taken out, right? Maduro is now no longer the head of Venezuela.
Yeah, that lady is his VP.
So, was the goal to disrupt the Maduro administration, or no? That wasn't actually the goal.
It has been disrupted. They are making actual policy changes.
It's been disrupted. We left them in charge.
We left the VP in charge, and she knows that if she doesn't play along with us, we can go right back and get her ass too. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we just
if you don't think there's a real difference, you should talk with.
We just intimidate countries to do what we want by threatening to kill their leaders or abduct their leaders. That's how we do it.
But when their leader is Nicolas Maduro, the guy who's been basically shoveling coke up to Europe and a little bit to the United States, he's also been sending a bunch of.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
why did Donald Trump release Juan Orlando Hernandez from federal prison when he was found guilty of trafficking 400 tons of cocaine to the U.S.? Why did Trump give him a pardon?
I'm really not sure about that. I haven't looked into it very much. I assume it's some kind of real politique type shit.
Hey, you have something in common with Trump, because when Trump was asked why he did it, he says he doesn't know who that is or why it happened, and basically said the auto pen did it.
That could have been Rubio telling him to do something, but he's not Mr. Auto Pen. He's a little bit more cogent than that.
So I'm confused.
I enjoyed when you said China's less likely to attack Taiwan, when nobody thinks that that's true. They think that all China has to do is tell him he's hot and maybe pump and dump some more meme coin for him, and they're in the clear.
Yeah, I'm just so very confused because I thought Trump wanted to get rid of traffickers. Is that not the case?
What do you... I'm sorry, how does this have to do anything with human trafficking right now?
Drug trafficking. You know, there's two types of trafficking.
Drug trafficking, okay.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that we got rid of Maduro because Trump really cares about drug trafficking, and that if his VP starts trafficking more drugs, then we'll go after him. Yet he released the largest drug trafficker from American prisons.
I don't think he's exactly... I don't have a good answer on that one. I don't think he's back in the head of the cartel again now. I think he was doing that.
So it doesn't seem like Trump wants to stop traffickers. So then what is the actual reason for getting Maduro?
Oh, Jesus.
He does want to stop drug trafficking?
5 of them. Number one, they were refining oil that was sent over from, I think, Russia for a while.
Oh, so sovereign nations can't decide where they get oil from and refine oil from where they want to. If they do that, then we go in and we take out their leaders.
Does that justify an emergency war action? The oil?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
My goodness, indeed. Because that's what you've been trying to give us.
I'm wanting to answer
is how he's not been breaking the law and violating the Constitution by going into these wars and bypassing the Congress. Like, fundamentally, that's what we've been asking of you.
We didn't do Maduro for just oil. We were already buying oil from the Venezuelans earlier.
So then why did we do Maduro?
Number one exporter. Because we need to box Russia in order to get a deal with Ukraine, and they were working with them. And the same thing with same thing with Iran.
So wait.
Multi-stage.
So in order to mess with Russia, we kidnap leaders of sovereign nations. Okay.
And again, didn't actually lead to regime change.
We're not doing it for any benevolent reason. We're doing it because we want a goal here.
Biden's administration put the warrant out for Maduro's arrest. Okay, this wasn't like this wasn't a really nilly.
I'm not complaining that a warrant was put out for Maduro's arrest. I think that's okay that happened.
I'm sure Trump's put out plenty of warrants. I have no issue with, and if those people land on the soil of our allies, I kind of wish we had a different president who would do that with, say, Benjamin Netanyahu, somebody who has the audacity of like Zohran Mamdani to say, by the way, if Netanyahu comes to New York, we will arrest him and turn him over to our allies who have a warrant out for him. I would love that shit. That would be my jam. But that's quite a bit different than a military action.
Yeah, kind of.
Here's a better question.
Wait, did you just say
how many?
Condescendingly, it was your example of it not being. Sorry, go ahead. That was crazy.
A question for you. How many school children should we kill in order to stop the Iranian government?
This is a stupid gotcha question, dude. We are not targeting school children purposefully.
I didn't say we were.
Attack. That is,
didn't say we were.
Are we avoiding them?
How
purposely?
Many should die? Ideally, none. But like 30,000 people just died in the protests. I mean, it's
3,000.
So that punch card's back. So how many per murder that the Ayatollah is responsible for? How many murders does Trump get?
Oh my goodness.
I know, my goodness. We just did the punch card. We just did punch card foreign policy. And the main thing, obviously, Jovan and I are anti-war in general. We'd probably have a problem with the Congress doing it too. But we wouldn't be able to sit here and just say what he is doing is, yes, we would still talk about the recklessness, the civilian casualties. At the end of the day, if you're a conservative, you cosplay constitutionalism, and he is violating the Constitution because there was no immediate threat. There was no reason for him to use those emergency powers. So he absolutely should have gone to the Congress and requested to go to war with Iran. And then they would have done what they did, probably given it to him, unfortunately. You'd have Fetterman up there masturbating to the idea of dead kids at the school.
Dude, that's just low. No, people do not want to see school children dying in these operations. Okay, that is just a low blow.
I think Fetterman's mind is so fucked up from his stroke that while he probably doesn't literally masturbate to it, I think he has some of that level of like, well, they're evil for what they would have become kind of bullshit. He seemed to signal that kind of stuff on Gaza. He still votes with the
Democrats like 95%. He's still your guy. He has like some sanity.
I'm not a Democrat. Wait. He's not my guy. I'm not a Democrat. I'm also not a Zionist.
He's a progressive more broadly.
No, he isn't. He's like kind of nice to queer people. That's about where it's at. He's been supporting Donald Trump's ICE policies. That shit's crazy. You want to say a progressive would be cool with what happened in Minnesota? I think not. You weren't cool with what happened in Minnesota. It sounded like.
That's for another time. I'll tell you about that later.
Look, I don't like the
whole
sound
War
of that.
Powers Act thing.
Should Renee Good have died? I just want to know what kind of guy I'm talking about. Well, you had a laugh in your voice when you said we'll talk about that later.
The officer who was struck by the car was on the right side of the car. Okay, Renee Good backed up. She rotated her car so the officer was in front of her. She then stepped forward on the accelerator. The officer was on slippery ice. You can literally see a person slipping at the end of the footage. He did not have even ground. He did not have the opportunity to step out of the car. I do believe that one was justified.
Yeah, you're wrong.
The second one,
and by the way, there's a lot of Supreme Court and there's a lot of Supreme Court precedent to show that you're wrong. He put himself in that situation. She was clearly not trying to hit him, and she was basically getting screamed conflicting orders. And they shouldn't have stopped her in the first place. So that one's fucking crazy. And he literally, like, for all of the danger you guys say he was clearly in danger, she was going to, him shooting her in the face caused her to accelerate. So if he was in that danger, he would have gotten hurt. But it turns out he only did a routine hospital check, as you have to do with every interaction. And the stories about how much damage he took was total fucking bullshit. What about Preddy? Did you think Preddy deserved to die?
Actually, no, I don't. I think that they
Goodness sakes.
From what I saw of just the video analogy, the one video I saw of that, he was taken to the ground after getting in between another lady who, by just the video I saw, she didn't deserve to get assaulted by the police either. They were putting him on the ground. One officer took his gun away, and then that case should absolutely go to trial because I don't know if he's actually guilty or not.
Even if Renee, even if you believe Renee that shooting was justified, you don't think that shooting should go to trial?
Well, that's up for the DA to decide, honestly. I mean,
well, it's not because
again,
the state's been locked out. The state's been locked out of the investigation, so the DA is never going to be able to put anything together to bring action. At this point, it's basically up to the federal government because the FBI and ICE and DHS have taken sole custody of that. And the kind of thing you would expect somebody trying to cover something up to do, but I do digress.
Yeah, everyone watch Nate the lawyer's video analyzing the case. He's an actual lawyer, and I
know Nate personally, and I don't care what Nate's opinion on it is. Nate the lawyer and I have disagreed on things, by the way. Nate the lawyer and I have disagreed on things, by the way, in the past as well. I don't care what his is. Just take it. If you're not worried about it, take it to fucking court. And don't lock the states out of the investigation because that's cover-up shit. Everybody watching, go watch this guy who I think agrees with me on the shit, whatever. I give a fuck whether he agrees with you or not on it.
Well, if you want a legal analysis.
By the way, there are a tremendous number of lawyers who agree with me on it. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's going to be a much larger group than your bud. What's that?
We're still talking about Preddy.
No, well, kind of Preddy and good. Okay. Yeah, Alan, I find you to be an inconsistent person.
And by the way, the people who were blowing the rape whistles against the guy's ears, they absolutely did not help the situation. I mean, for all the person who took the gun very well could have said, "I have the gun now."
Yeah, that's cool. I was in the middle of a sentence when you decided my sentence was over, so that beep was me muting you. I find you to be a very just sort of hypocritical and inconsistent person, where you're just like, and I can tell what it is. What it is that you have your team. You know that, Alan, in the last 8 years or whatever it's been, you've touted the fact that Donald Trump doesn't go to war and that if it was any other president, they would have gone to Iran. And now that he's gone to Iran, it's good. Had the exact same thing happened under Kamala Harris, no differences, it would be bad. You know this is a team thing. And I think you do know that. I'll now unmute you to respond to my accusation.
Sorry for interrupting you earlier. I am back on, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah. Again, there are some things that Joe Biden did. I think his support of Ukraine, his unclear messaging before Ukraine, I think that was a very bad misstep. I think his support afterwards was needed. Are you
going to respond to what I said, though?
Okay. Look, I might be a bit of a hypocrite. I'm sorry for that. I need to look into these things. What did I accuse
you of? Do you know?
Being a hypocrite, supporting
no, specifically,
team politics.
What did I say you're motivated by? That you decide who's right based on whether it's right based on what?
Like you were saying, team sports, whichever side is mine.
Exactly. Which team it is. I think that this is that you almost certainly touted how anti-war and how he never had to do anything in Iran. And by the way, we're also all ignoring the fact that how bad things got is directly connected to him pulling out of the Iran deal. And if there is any threat of nuclear arms, 100% his fault for pulling out of the Iran deal. That he never actually defended that it was a bad deal. Right? He just called it a bad deal. I'm sorry, what?
You know the Iran deal would have expired by now, right?
You don't think Donald Trump or Joe Biden would have extended the Iran deal? Wouldn't have had the option? What?
It's a possibility, absolutely. But I mean, I don't think they would extend the Iran deal after October 7th. I don't think that would have happened exactly. But
when did the Iran deal expire?
Let me look this up. It was 10 years after it was signed.
I think we have 16 minutes left. There's one other caller I'd like to get to. Why don't you just give your final thoughts? Because it would have been last year. And there's no reason to believe that that wouldn't have been negotiated in advance, nor that October 7th would have meaningfully changed it, unless Netanyahu just said it's not allowed, not on my watch. And granted, it was Donald Trump, so probably is what would have gone down. Alan, you give your final thoughts. We're moving on to the last call because we've only got 15 minutes left.
The people of Iran are actually going to see meaningful change because of this. And it takes an actual amount of courage to do this. The War Powers Act, I think, was necessary. Congress during war was necessary.
It was a succinct point. The people will see the difference. That's your final point. Thank you, Alan. I think Iraq and Afghanistan would like to talk. Time. Sounds good.
It takes courage. Some of you are going to die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to take.
I am willing to take. All right. Jeremy in Connecticut, pronouns he, him. Jeremy, how old are you?
Hello, I am 21.
Interesting, because you told the screener that you're 22. So do you want to just get whatever slurs you were calling to scream into the mic out, or what are we doing here?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was not doing any slurs.
Well, then why did you tell the screener you're 22, but you told us 21, when also we can hear that you're 14?
What year were you born?
They hung up.
Oh, I didn't see that.
They hung up as I said, right after I said, and we can hear you're 14. I don't ask for much, but holy shit. Sometimes I give it a second, right? Like, I'm not perfect. Sometimes somebody named Jeremy who's 22 is going to call in and they're going to sound like Jeremy did. And it might have nothing to do with that they're actually 14. They might have a less masculine voice because they are, or we're a very trans accepting group of people here, or they have a pituitary issue or whatever. But when I can hear you're holding back laughter, when you were so bad at it, Luthien's radar is pretty good, so it actually wouldn't be so bad. But when you weren't even able to fool the screener, because I'm not even joking, people, Luthien wrote in all caps and parentheses, troll alert. Okay? So, I don't know, like, if you're going to go for it, and this is going to be a little insulting to some people, you'll just have to accept it. If you're going to go for it, and you're going to troll like that, accept your limitations and pretend to be a girl next time.
Also, my stream to watch the last 10 minutes of the show, come over to Jimmy's stream.
Oh, you cutting it off there?
Yeah.
If any of you MAGAs in that chat are brave, we got 13 minutes left. 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. Hey, did you make those calling cards yet? No, they're on my to-do list. I'm going to maybe get to them this week. There is a little, there's a little thing. My birthday's on Thursday. I'm making business card size and flyer size print offs that people can give to people to call our show with like the phone number and like a QR code to the schedule and all that kind of shit. So it's things that they can go print wherever they want themselves to hand out to the MAGAs in their life. Should I make one specifically like calling MAGA dads? Like that's
calling
directed.
All MAGA dads.
God, I want to talk to a MAGA dad. Oh man, you swiped and right after mine was Jovan's. Right when I get out, they bring me back in. We've only got 12 minutes, MAGA. If you want to be our last caller, it will have to be a little bit short, but maybe that will be a nice respite, a nice escape. I feel like, on the one hand, it can make it a little bit more welcoming early in the calls, but I do feel like this calmer approach I've been, and by the way, it's not even necessarily, I haven't necessarily been putting effort into doing this. It's actually been the result of being around people who approach it more calmly and admiring how and just naturally like seeing how effective it is that I think just picked it up myself. I'll tell you lately when it comes to the religion calls, I was watching a little bit of a streamer named Mezzo, and the ease at which he has no problem just saying, I don't know, like profoundly affected me. Because he's never lost for having say, I don't know. And being an atheist and saying like, you shouldn't be so afraid of saying, I don't know. And then realizing I probably was low key not following that advice myself was nice
I say
moment.
I don't know pretty consistently. If somebody's like, how did the universe go? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I would usually say I would go on the attack there, where it would be like, you don't know either. Blah 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 blah. And watching Mezzo, he like he totally disarms other people the way in which he goes. I don't know. He says it with such to the point I probably imitate it now. I probably when I say I don't know, I'll bet you it bears a resemblance. So always getting better, but I think it's almost too effective. When you calmly wreck these people, it almost makes it harder to get them to call in. Though we had a number of calls today, a lot of repeat callers.
I find that what I do best when it comes to debating is just really finding that one piece of wood that's holding their argument up.
Yeah,
finding it and knocking it out.
Yeah,
and just watching them squirm.
Bye piece of wood. And I liked that. I liked that because it was about wood. And
I know what gets your goat.
That's my thing is wood.
Most types of wood. Yeah.
I like the wood. I would. Hey, we're gonna get anybody for that last minute one? All right, let's read some super chats. Yeah, my birthday's on Thursday. Yeah, the long term definitely will be show based, but right now I'm just worried about my own show. Fuck all those other shows. No, I'm just kidding.
Mine is next Wednesday.
Your birthday's the following Wednesday?
Yeah, I should have came back to. I'm going to New York later this month, but I should have gone back to Texas so we could have done something for our birthdays.
And Matt's is the end of March.
Who else we could have had a whole ass
thing. Valdron says, not having eyes and dental covered really sucks. I live in Canada, and although diagnosis for my eye disease was covered, the $1,400 prosthetic lens I need to see with were not. That's very disappointing. That I wonder if it's all of Canada or like if I don't know if y'all have the like the expansions like America has with Medicaid and Medicare. That's really disappointing to know that Canada doesn't cover those things, because even those things like. All the research shows if you invest in that kind of shit and you restore people to being whole again or as close to whole as possible, they end up producing more than they ever take. They end up being.
I mean, it is pretty weird that we don't put everything that is your medical self into your medical insurance.
Dude, it's so
mental
dumb.
Health insurance is separated. Usually it's still run. You still get it when you pay for your normal, but it's typically with a separate company that has separate requirements. Your dental is going to be separate. Your vision is going to be separate.
Yeah. The dental one's the one weird. I find the crazy. I mean, vision too, but vision realistically, if it's just nearsighted or farsighted, I'm not saying they're right, but generally near-far, that's the only thing that's not covered. There's probably a few other things. Obviously,
vision luckily is pretty cheap too. Like even if you were to go, I get vision insurance because all my insurance I pay for myself.
Oh,
my regular insurance is like,
is what you're saying.
Yeah. My regular insurance is like $400 for my health insurance. It's like $400 a month. My vision insurance is $15.
Oof.
So vision insurance is like, and I get
50 or 15.
15.
Oh, I would say 50 sounds pretty bad.
No,
though.
1.5. Yeah, like vision is, and I get a free eye exam and free frames every year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not terrible. It's just crazy that it's not like, obviously if you go actually blind, your insurance will cover that. And now the only thing you're worried about is, will you lose your insurance because you can't afford to work? You can't work and shit. And then what's going to happen in the period of time between going blind, not having insurance, and of getting approved for Medicaid or whatever else? Like, what's going to happen to you? Those are the things that make it terrible. Oh, you and Meg are apparently birthday twins.
Oh my gosh, really? March 11th.
Hell yeah.
I'll
Squirrel
be 33,
Knitter
baby.
says the Boston
Squirrel
molasses knitter. The way in which I have been saved multiple times by the fact that I over enunciate my T's compared to other Americans.
Tell me you've seen that clip from the PBS show Arthur where they're all yelling at Brain, calling him a knitter.
Yeah. Yeah, they must. You gotta think somebody knew. Somebody in the writing room knew.
He's a dirty knitter. Don't let that dirty knitter knit in our.
Oh my God. The Boston molasses disaster is one of the reasons we have building regulations, environmental reviews looking at the feasibility of the building site itself. I believe you. I don't know the Boston molasses disaster, but I believe you. Perryform says, question for chat. Who thinks at Billy the Kid is a coward for not calling in? I'm sure I do. I think I remember they were saying something dumb in there. But remember that 90% of the time there's a random asshole in the chat being antagonistic and not calling in. It's Hakeem, which in fairness, he's blocked from calling in anyway. No.
Oh, I love that Yeshua kid called you immediately after I hung up on him.
Yeah, and then he thought he was going to get away with it too. Did you watch when I was like, did you say?
Dude, we were live reacting to you on stream. I had you pulled up on stream because he left and I was on another call and it had ended and somebody was like, Jovan, Yeshua's in Jimmy's stream. I'm like, let me tell Jimmy what he said. And so we watched.
What was the thing he said grab him by the pussy was pimp shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he found it very,
and I'm sorry,
very
he
funny.
was not joking. He only said it was a joke because I reacted negatively to it.
Right. All right. And because he's never had consensual sex. Liz Chris says, everyone needs to hit the like button, but not enough of you have. That's true. That's true. Valvifer says, this is boring. Next, I saw yours come in, and I think we did wrap up shortly after, but we don't technically let on this show people buy next calls, but I did try to get it less boring and then wrapped it up pretty quick thereafter.
The Buddha caller thing is mine.
I do it at times. There are times where I did. Somebody paid $200 to take Andrew last week, and so I took it and then paid $100 to take it back. They were like, never mind, it wasn't worth it.
I put a Billy, because Billy calls in. Nate Billy, he calls into my stream pretty much every day. Like every time I stream, Nate Billy calls in. So the last time we did, I was like, all right, if y'all want me to take Nate's call, $20. And then I got like $80 to not take his call. So I was like, all right, I won't take Nate Billy.
Git Stanfield says, I feel like if you have a reasonable position that's going to directly refute whatever a host or hosts are posting, you would call in. Cowardice. Yeah, you would think. That bro is cool. As an Iranian, this caller is a stain on our name. I hope he pays the price. I don't give a fuck. My family is in danger because of this piece of shit. Yeah, there's literally, that's a lot of the sentiment actually out of, so he wants a lot of like as an Iranian American, but there's a lot of people saying, I am in Iran right now, and I'm telling you, we are terrified because America and Israel do not have a good reputation for what comes after. They want to be called liberators, but once they've gotten their shit, liberation doesn't seem important to them. And so it's just a lot of like talking over the people who matter.
Dude, I'm scrolling Instagram and one of those like, those like fake news feeds, where they post like a fake story. It says DreamWorks confirms Shrek will say the N-word in Shrek 5.
No, that one's true. I heard that actually. That one's true.
So fucking funny. Hey,
that one's confirmed.
I still have my black one mug.
Do you know why I know that one's true? A bunch of people saw Mike Myers like going to Quentin Tarantino's house a bunch. So it's true. It's true.
There are two things Quentin Tarantino loves: his feet and having his actors say the N-word a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Do you think when he writes it in his scripts, he like giggles to himself?
Maybe. Or do you think he at least has the foresight to write a different stand-in word that he then just like does a Control H, find and replace?
It says ninjas.
What if it's even sillier than that? That's not even an N-related word.
It's knitters, man.
It's something like
full circle.
You
he actually
gremlins,
wrote. This is what you don't know. Before he got
gremlin.
before he got big in Hollywood, he wrote that Arthur scene. I don't know if you knew this. That was all him.
Yeah. He wrote about.
He ghost wrote it under the name Tyrone Biggins, but
yeah, but he quit because that one dude, Paul whatever, was put on the project. Paul Stefano. What's that guy's name?
Paul Stefano.
Who's the guy he just shit on for no reason?
The guy who played the Riddler.
Yeah.
Paul,
what's that guy's?
Paul. It is a D, Paul? Right? It's definitely Paul.
Dude, what a way to win a fight without ever saying a word. You know what I mean?
Paul Dano.
I said Defano because
I said
that was. I think Paul Bufano is some jazz guy that they referenced in an episode of I Think You Should Leave when Tim Heidecker's character is like they're playing charades or whatever, and he's like, Paul Bufano, how hard is that? That's where that one came from.
Crazy said that too. I've liked Paul Dano in like almost every movie I've seen him in.
But Quentin Tarantino said that gremlin is the worst actor ever, but he didn't say gremlin. Okay, we're running up on the next show, so sorry we didn't get through the soups, though we never promised to, but we appreciate you. Yeah, go watch the other show, everybody. It's not Forrest, is it? It's Seth and somebody, maybe? No, it's Justin and someone, right? Who's doing the line right now? Let's go take a look. Justin's always a good show. Very fond of Justin. Oh my God, why is my shortcut buttons not? Oh my, everything's broken.
It's Eric.
All right. Eric and Justin, Deconstruction Zone, Skeptics and Scoundrels. Go watch them. I release you. Bye.